All right, we're good.
We're good to go.
Yeah. Nice new addition.
Yeah. It's fucking cost me an arm and a leg.
Half of it. I think half of each one, right? Half of each one.
No, my whole life.
All right. So, what's up, man? Been a while, huh? What is it, like
2 weeks?
2 weeks or so? Maybe more?
Because we had a guest. Our last one was a guest.
The last one was a guest.
And then we had like a week.
And then I was literally busy every day.
Yeah, like
again. With tournaments and practices and birthday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we kind of like started the last episode was like right before the tournament started, the Euros and Copa America.
Yeah.
So we're in the playoffs. So we missed the whole group stage. We haven't get the chance to talk about it.
We didn't get to talk about the group stage at all.
So I mean, we could go over there. There's a lot of other things I would like to bring up too that has come to my attention from, which I'm appreciative of, from some followers.
Yeah.
That mention things, and that's great.
Yeah,
they're interacting. We'll talk about it.
Of course.
And
that's the whole point, right?
Yeah.
That was the whole
point of getting information out. Exchanging opinions.
Yeah.
See where can we just go from, and then which I have a long one.
You have a long one?
Well, I mean, like the one I talked to you off the camera.
Oh yeah.
So it's like,
we could get into that a little bit later.
Let's start with I guess
the Euros. Was it? No, I'll ask this.
Well,
was it what you expected in terms of the groups being who they were? Like, did you expect the games the way they were, or did you think this game was going to be better than that game, or
So far, from what I can remember, this possibly from the games I've actually watched, it's met my expectations. It's probably exceeded more because I'm excited to watch them.
Yeah.
Most of the games I've watched have been exciting.
Yeah.
I feel like it's been an exciting tournament so far.
Yeah.
It hasn't been... I was scared to be like, fuck, all these players are so tired. They're coming off a long-ass season. Everything was bunched up, COVID, and I was thinking it's going to be all like a defensive type tournament where they're just going to fucking all sit back and just wait for someone to fuck up and go score.
Yeah.
But so far, so good, I think, from the teams that are supposed to do good in some way, but in general, I like it so far. I think it's a great tournament. To be honest with you, I was actually thinking about this, and I think the Euro Cup is a lot more fun than the Copa America because it actually has fans now.
Well, not only that, but I think there's more excitement with I guess you could say the lower level-esque teams that you don't really get to see and hear about, and you get to see them play. For example, Hungary. Or Hungary, however anybody wants to call it. I don't think anybody expected for them to play the way they played going into the group that they were in. I don't think that was expected from them at all. I think they were just, like they say, it was a group of death, but there's always the fourth team that's like, we're really going against like these three powerhouse teams. But, I mean, credit to them. They gave an entertaining matches that they played against those teams. Where other teams where it's like, for example, I think North Macedonia, they kind of got blown out like a couple games. So it's like, okay, I mean, we get it.
Oh yeah, because I also had some. So it's funny. I had my dark horse. I had my predictions, and my dark horse fucking shit it down their leg. Exactly, Turkey.
Exactly,
because they did so well on the qualifications, and they and I was like, I was like, telling you, remember? I was like, oh, Turkey's gonna probably come up, and I was just like, what the fuck happened?
Turkey didn't win a single game.
Yeah,
Hungary had a better chance than them. Yeah. So it's something like
so it's a good surprise. It's like one of those like, oh, okay.
That's what my point was. Like, there's the teams like that you don't really anticipate to do so well just because of what people know about them and just kind of their rankings and things like that, as compared to Copa America or whatever the other ones. It's like so far Copa America we've kind of seen it. It's like Brazil, Argentina, and I think Uruguay. I think one of the surprises was Paraguay.
Yeah.
Paraguay or whatever. Paraguay, they beat Chile.
They did.
Yeah, so that's kind of one of the surprises. Which again, like I said, but it's not too many of those where that was just one game they kind of really surprised. Whereas Hungary is like, first of all, you're going against France, Portugal, and Germany. Mm-hmm. You go and tie
You go and lose to Portugal in the last 5 minutes, just kind of gassed out, but held their own throughout the entire game, and even almost had a chance to win the game, like be winning the game, and then go and tie France, World Cup champs, and then go and tie Germany. To actually not even tie, but almost even win to get in. They were that close. They were that close to get into the next round. You know, they were up 1-0, then they went 1-1, then they went up 2-1, and then they went 2-2. So it was like, for them to do what they did, it was like really, it was awesome to see, because I think in Euros there's always going to be that one team. The last one was Iceland. Iceland was that team that came in and everyone's like, oh, it's Iceland. When have they ever been good? And then they ended up going to like the second round or I think the quarters or something like that. The year they had Euros, and then same thing with Hungary. I think they were the closest one to kind of really do that, to being similar to Iceland. So yeah, that's why going off that, yeah, I would say the Euros is more entertaining in that aspect, because you get more of the lower level teams to really step up and be a shock and be a surprise.
Yeah. Other thing, what was it? Oh, I was gonna say that I'm glad. I feel that it's exciting and a surprise, because hold on, let me rephrase that. I'm excited that it's not all predictable.
Yeah.
And obviously that's the beauty of this game.
Oh, of course.
And I know there's pundits, there's people like us, we try to predict, we try to guess, we try to say this.
Yeah.
We have our teams that we favorite.
Yeah.
But at the same time, as I watch most of the games that I could watch, most of them were not predictable. Where I'm like, okay, this is enjoyable to watch. Yeah. They're making it, a tournament.
Yeah.
Because going off just teams, I'm still, like I said to you earlier, I'm still surprised off of France. I'm still surprised at the way it happened, or the way they're doing is kind of a surprise. But again, we didn't think this was going to happen.
No.
We didn't think they were going to be this way. We thought they were going to like steamroll or just at least win 3 or at least win 2 for sure.
I would think they would have at least won 2.
So
and then be challenged for one of them at least.
Right.
But yeah, for being who they are and what they been representing and what they've been showcasing, it is a bit surprising to see the way they ended up, the way they ended the group. I mean, I don't think anybody predicted that the top 3 teams in that group would all have 1 win and advance. They all had 1 win and advanced. Like, I don't think that was expected. At least one of them was. I'm pretty sure there's heavily. Like France was heavily favored to at least have 2 wins.
2 wins, and we were thinking Germany's not the same.
Yeah.
And the way they won against Portugal.
Yeah.
And then Portugal the way they won.
No, like to me,
their game and then how they like.
The surprise for me was that Germany-Portugal game. I did not.
That was a big surprise too.
For me was I would have predicted Portugal to win that game maybe by a goal because of the way they play, and then Germany because they do attack heavily. But I did not expect Germany to put 4 on them and then Portugal lose 2-4.
They actually technically put 2.
Okay. 2 own goals.
Gave them
2 own goals. But still, it's just to put 4. Like, that's...
To get 4,
yeah.
I get what you're saying. The World Cup one in Brazil, that was 4 goals.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's the Germany. This is not the Germany that did that.
Yeah.
We gave them 2 goals. So...
Yeah.
But at the same time, yes, I was surprised how that went about.
Yeah, I was surprised too.
But then again, after looking back at the whole group stage, like, I look at it and, you think, like, okay, the group of death, like, okay, why not?
Yeah.
Because there's 3 fucking top powerhouse teams apparently up there. And then you got Hungary.
Yeah.
And the fact that the way Hungary held itself through the group stage was fucking amazing.
Oh, yeah. Credit to them so much to be able to go in the group of death and everybody literally just count them out and say, you're not even going to get a goal. You're not even going to get across half field with any of these teams. Like, you're not going to have any chance. And for them to fight the way they fought all 3 games, I think every game they had an opportunity to get out of the group. And I think that could have been the group where I was saying, like, they could have been the Iceland of this year. I mean, I don't know if there's really much of a surprise team this year.
Well, if you want to finish on the group stage, I mean,
Well, I mean, every group. I mean, we kind of honestly. I think
Yeah.
we talked about this. The I guess you could say the only group that was really entertaining was this group of death. In terms of when every game. That
Yeah,
they
you're
played.
right because I said that to you earlier. Every game was an entertainment game.
Italy dominated their group.
And again, it's the teams that they play against.
Yeah,
but
Belgium-
again, I still don't want to take away from the games that I watched from the other groups.
Oh no!
They
Yeah,
were still good.
Yeah.
and
But
exciting to watch. But to the fact of the level of this group,
yeah.
I think exceeded expectations and
Oh, definitely.
also even surprised expectations.
Of
in a
course.
sense of like, oh shit, we didn't think. Because like I said earlier, everyone tried to predict how it's going to go.
I would not have predicted all three teams to only win one game and get through. That's what I would
You're
not
right.
have predicted.
Me either. I thought one of these teams would have a good 2-win.
Yeah.
And the third game would have been
Mhm.
like, all right, like we
Yeah.
don't need to win it.
Because, like I said, all the like I said,
But then
not
I
taking
think-
away from the other groups, but like I said, the Italy group they dominated. They didn't even get
But
scored
the
on.
beauty about this sport that I love is that we were able to see this group and see this team early in a group stage because once it's playoffs, obviously they have to go all out. It's a different aspect. It's a different animal
Oh yeah,
because we look back at the group stage. There was great goals. There was great games. There were surprise goals. There were surprise games. And all in all, like I think it was good for these teams to go in that group stage because it either will better them. I think it will better them in the knockout stage. Because let's be realistic. Like we just said, Italy didn't really play anybody,
yeah,
but they were able to steamroll and not get one goal conceded on.
yeah.
Belgium had a scare against Denmark because Denmark, we all saw what happened, and they were playing for more than a tournament. They were playing for their player.
Yeah.
You know, and we saw how that went, and like we saw what I saw that they were exposed in the back line by a team like Denmark, which is a decent team.
Yeah.
I mean, we're going to go to the knockout stage, and they did, to my opinion, they decently no, they didn't play today, did they?
Yeah.
They did, right?
Who did?
Yeah, they did. Sorry, my
Denmark.
bad.
You talking about Denmark?
Yes, they won against
Yeah.
Wales. So
Yes,
looking
yeah.
at that is what I'm saying. Like, I think once you get to the group stages, it's a different animal. It's a different fire.
Yeah.
But some of these teams can keep their own identity still and like find a way.
Oh yeah.
So
Oh yeah.
group stage was fun, exciting. So far, so good.
Oh yeah.
Let's go on to knockouts.
Yeah. I mean, their first two games already went by today.
Yeah.
I mean, I wasn't expecting that from Denmark against Wales. I mean, I knew Wales wasn't that strong, but I was not expecting Denmark. Denmark, I've always seen I think it's Denmark and Switzerland are always those two teams that are like, you know they're obviously in the Euros, you know they play that well, and then when it comes to the big stage, they do perform pretty well because Switzerland in the past I think was like top 5 one time, and then Denmark is usually in that realm as well, or top 20 at least, and they're always under the radar, and then once they get in, it's like it's a shock, it's a surprise. So like Denmark right now, I don't think anyone anticipated really Denmark to go in the next round and then go and win the way they won today. Because, I mean, they lost out their best player. Like it's unfortunate. It's a real sad situation that what happened to him. And other teams, you know, it happens where something like that can happen and teams just kind of not fold, but just like their mindset is just completely different because, you know, others can handle that pressure or others can't. Where fortunately Denmark, they all came together and man, they're like, you can see they're playing for someone's life, like literally, like, you could see it. So it's good, it's great that they have that motivation and fuel because now they're putting themselves on the map for others to be wary of them. Like, oh wait, we're not just Denmark, you know, like we're here to win too. So to win 4-0 against Wales though, I wasn't expecting that.
Well, as I was watching the game, Wales did whatever they could in the first 15-20 minutes, and Denmark figured a way out to possess and get in spaces.
Yeah.
The last couple goals, I really believe Wales was just like, fuck, after the first 2 goals.
Yeah.
It's like, just get us out of here.
Yeah.
Like, I think they just folded.
Yeah.
From how it looked. Like, They had chances, but they didn't get them in.
Yeah.
But I believe after watching this game, I don't think Denmark is I wouldn't underestimate them.
No.
I would definitely treat
definitely
them
not.
as a team that they can win.
They could
can
commit.
beat us.
Yeah, like
I don't know who would go up against them. I think it's either Netherlands.
I think it's going to be between the Netherlands. I have it right here. Yeah, it's between Netherlands and Czech Republic.
So either of those teams should be like, okay,
Yeah.
Denmark's good.
Oh, yeah.
Denmark's good. After
Yeah.
seen this game, Denmark's good.
Yeah, definitely.
So that's once it gets to that point, I just wouldn't
Put it past
take them lightly.
Yeah,
I wouldn't take them lightly.
wouldn't put it past them. Yeah, exactly. So that's good that they got through. And then the other game today was Italy and
Austria.
That's a team I was a
Austria.
little surprised to come through.
Austria?
Yeah, because I think they were in the group with Sweden, I believe. I can't remember. No, they were in the group with Ukraine, Netherlands, and North Macedonia. I was thinking Ukraine would be a little bit stronger.
Yeah, but they didn't.
Yeah,
play the way they should have.
Yeah.
I watched the game today. I watched it all.
Against
I was
Italy.
beyond surprised the way Italy played. As much as you saw the highlights,
Yeah, I
as
saw
much as
the
they
highlights.
had highlights,
Yeah.
I don't think it defines the whole game because there was a lot that I saw from Austria that they needed a star player to get those goals for them.
Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure.
And the
I'm pretty sure.
way they played against Italy was just also surprised.
Yeah.
I think Italy was also surprised, like, oh shit, like they stepped it up. They're putting that effort. And the way the game went, it literally could have gone Austria's way, but it's a game of inches at times.
Oh yeah.
Players offside, and then there was a goal, and it was taken. I actually thought Austria was going to do the upset,
Yeah.
but then comes extra time, and they just figured out how to get the goal in, and they won by the extra time.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Went to the extra time.
Austria had the chances. You saw the goal that they
Yeah.
had, and then the other shot, the fucking goalie was amazing.
Yeah, that was a
Made
good.
his
That was a
block.
good save.
That was a great save.
What's his name?
Donnarumma?
Donnarumma.
And in my opinion, after watching this game, if they come like that again, it's just gonna depend on how Portugal and Belgium play
And when they get through, how
and
they
what
play
kind of
against them.
game and how they get through. Because again, I'll be honest with you, as much as I don't think Belgium's that strong in the back line to play against a team like Portugal.
Yeah.
If Portugal play the way they play France the first 30 minutes.
Yeah. If they play like that, yeah.
If Portugal comes out that way, I think Portugal can take this game. And let me just try to go ahead. And then they play Italy, and they try to find the way to play the same way. I think Portugal can end up going all the way to the end.
Yeah.
If Italy doesn't figure out how to,
I think these are going to be their two toughest matchups. Like if they,
well, that's
for me, for Portugal to get to the end, it's if they could get past these two, they should get to the end.
Here's why I love why they were in the group of death. They were able to play tough teams already.
Yeah.
Two of them,
Yeah.
at least.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yes, they lost to one, and they tied to the other.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't beat any of these. But that's, looking at this now, that's how Portugal is because of this coach.
Yeah.
They find a way to get through.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how it was the last tournament, how
Yeah.
they ended up winning.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying that they're going to do that exactly, but I think that ideal or that identity of them might help them to keep going again, because the way I look at what they did in the group stage, they're already in the mindset like, hey, we have another 2 games against another 2 big opponents if we get that far. If we get through Belgium, that's one opponent that's tough, and Italy.
Yeah.
Right? So they're already accustomed to that.
Yeah.
As for these other teams, the way Italy came out, that was unexpected.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I was like surprised. The other team, Austria, was like, holy shit, they ended up going to extra time.
Yeah.
So it makes me feel like those teams that steamrolled or had those games, it's going to be a little tougher for them once they are like, all right, everybody's going to be all out now.
Yeah.
I'm not saying they're not going to step up,
Yeah.
because like I said, it's a different breed once they get here,
Yeah.
the knockout stage. I just think the ones that were able to go to that group stage kind of have a edge of like, hey, we literally had our own fucking little playoffs because we already played the toughest teams in our group.
Yeah.
You guys just had a tournament against teams that most likely you should have been beating, and they did.
Yeah.
Again, the scare was the Denmark-Belgium game because Denmark was all over them.
Yeah.
So I think, in my opinion, from the way things look, if Portugal does come out that way and stays consistent to that, they can bypass Belgium. They can do it against Italy. And then finally probably get to, I think it would end up being France again in the semis if France goes that far.
Yeah.
And that's where, they meet again, and it's a different game and so on. But at that point, I think that's how they can do it.
Yeah.
But going back to Italy, if, let's say, Belgium does it, I think Italy has to realize, okay, we're not playing these teams anymore. We've been 30-0 or whatever, gone without a loss. Or I think it's time that these are the real games.
Oh yeah.
So if anything, I think Italy. It's how do you say it? It's Italy's to lose.
Yeah, it's Italy's to lose. It's because I mean it seems like right now before the Euros, I don't think they were even considered to be favorites. I'm pretty sure they had a consideration to be going far. But I think with everything that's been going on, I'm sure they're now considered to be
one of the
favorites to go all the way to the end now.
But I don't see it that way now after today's game.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
At least I don't.
Oh yeah. I'm pretty sure everyone has their views and opinions. But again, if for me it's going to be Portugal has to either first of all, let's take care of Belgium. Belgium is an attacking-esque team. They're gonna be similar to Germany. Similar, not exactly, but similar. But if Portugal can adjust to what they did against Germany towards Belgium, then yeah, they got a pretty good shot. They got a pretty good, decent shot. And then they got to be able to. What they have to do more of is what they did against France in those first 20 minutes. They have to bite back. Like they can't sit and get beaten up on for the first 15, 20 minutes, and then like we've said before, when it comes down to a tight game, the last 10 minutes, Portugal all of a sudden wants to go all out. Because other teams are going to be doing that from the beginning. So if they could play the way they did against France in those first 10, 15 minutes throughout the game against Belgium, it's going to be anyone's game, I think, at that point. Yeah. Because it's just now more or less of, can they get into the box? Can they sneak in a penalty? Can they sneak in a goal? Because the thing I always noticed too with Portugal is as soon as they score, they like to sit back. Yeah. They like to sit back. But it was weird. With France, they sat back, but they were like, not as defensive as they normally would be when they get a lead, because then once France got that tie, then you saw Portugal again pushing again, and time ran out, didn't get it, and then the second half came, France made their adjustments, they got that goal bends, and then you see Portugal pushing again, and trying to get that goal, and eventually they got it, and then it just they just sat back, where France still had I think the last 15 minutes. I think Portugal was just trying to hold on, because I even noticed the players saw it more where they just held off to try to win, and the coach was like yelling at his players to get up and move the ball forward, but you could see it from the Portuguese players like, we're tied, we're good, just settle down, rather than let's go get the win, because they had a slight momentum, but they just slowed it down. And then France, I think France also did the same when I think the Germany and Hungary game was going at the same time, and then the chatter went around the stadium, and everybody kind of sensed it like the last 5 minutes. Then you could see France and Portugal both be like, "Oh, they tied. Germany's through. If we tie right now, we're both through. Okay, then let's just relax." Because I saw it. France was going at it for a little bit. Portugal went at it, and then I kid you not, there was like a moment in the game where France got the ball, they lost it. Portugal could have easily countered, but I think it was Pepe or Jota or somebody in the middle got it, turned it back, played it to the center back. Pepe got it and like kind of just stopped. And I just see the coach just kind of like, get up, like just wailing at him, just like telling him to get up. But no, there was no anticipation. And I think at that moment they're like, okay, we're good. We don't need to try.
That's why.
Let's just secure this time. Let's get out of here.
That's why I said like I think. I mean, obviously the knockout stages, they're not going to wait for anybody else.
Oh yeah, no.
So that's why I think some of these games for them, it was one of those like, we're able to go all out and understand who they are.
Yeah.
From both sides.
Yeah.
France knows who they are. You know what I mean? So I think these teams had, like I said, the advantage of understanding like, okay, we've played tough teams. We're gonna go to the playoffs and play even tough teams again.
Yeah.
And now this time it's do or die, obviously. So
yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. I think as I'm a Portugal fan, I think they can do it again if the way they played that first half against France and stick to that.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, Belgium has key players, but at the same time, watching their games and that back line and certain players, I'm just like, I don't think they can handle top attackers because they didn't really play against top attackers.
Yeah.
And the fact that the rest of these teams that they go forward from is going to be difficult. I mean, if they end up doing it, obviously it's going to suck for me, but it is what it is. I'm just leaning towards an actual Portugal win in the sense, again, if they play the way they played against France.
Wow. So, I don't know if you know about this, but the last time Portugal and Belgium played each other was in 2018. And they tied 0-0. The last time before that was in 2016, and Portugal won 2-1. And these were all friendly games.
Yeah, I remember.
So they haven't really faced each other competitively.
This might
Since
be the
at
first
least
time.
for the most part, from what I can see here. But
that's what I'm saying. I think again,
so this will be an interesting matchup to see.
it's playoffs. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be exciting for me.
Yeah.
It's gonna be crazy for me. But everyone always pushes off Portugal, and I understand why now. I get it.
Yeah.
Their game, the play, and the way the identity is.
Yeah.
They're not a convincing team to always say they're gonna win.
Yeah.
They're a team to be like, holy shit, we thought that, but they ended up pulling it off.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which still kind of somewhat feels the same as this 2016, but slightly different because they have more better players. As for Belgium to me again still seems the same team.
I think so.
For me, I feel like it's the same team since they started saying the golden age for them.
Yeah.
Like I don't think anything's really changed. I mean,
yeah, not really.
But
Doesn't seem
again,
like
we'll
it.
see. Obviously, I'm picking Portugal. So, who do you got? You're sticking with Belgium?
I'll stick with Belgium, but I feel like it's gonna. I feel like I'm not gonna say it's gonna be a blowout or anything. I just feel like it's gonna be more of a It's gonna be one of those. It's like it'll come down to the wire.
Yeah,
Someone will get.
see it.
It's gonna be like. I feel like
close game.
it's gonna be a close game, but I mean in the sense of it's gonna be a close game early on to the point where it's like let's just say it's. I'll just say this. I'll say it's like 2-1 Belgium, but it's gonna be 2-1. Let's say like in the early second half where Portugal's just kind of like throwing everything and everything and everything. You know what I mean?
I could see it as the Italy game also.
Yeah, well that too.
I could see it that way
too.
also.
Yeah, that too. I the only reason why I don't really see it that way is because, I mean, every game Portugal has found a way to score.
Yeah, they've scored in every game.
So that's what I'm saying. Like this is going to be an interesting matchup because Belgium has not. I think Belgium's only been scored on once.
Denmark scored on them.
Yeah, so that was it because I saw it.
But again,
so
see the team that they play against.
Yeah, but I'm saying like in the sense of that they're gonna get scored on. I believe and Portugal's gonna find a way to score. But then again, Belgium's gonna find a way to score too. So I don't see this much as going into overtime 0-0. I see it more going into overtime either 1-1 or 2-2 or however, or like I said,
it goes that way.
Like I said, it could be really close 2-1 all the way to the end, and then they tie it 2-2 and then go into the overtime or something like that. Like that's kind of where I see it going.
I mean,
I don't see it being 0-0 the whole game. I'd be surprised. I will be surprised.
I would be surprised too.
I will be surprised
to have
0-0.
Lukaku there, to have Cristiano there, to have all the players like.
Yeah, to go 0-0.
I feel they both should score. Yeah, if it's 0-0 for a long time, it's because they just fucking no one can make their chances.
What I won't be surprised of if it's a high scoring game, like if let's just say it's 3-2, like I won't be surprised at that. I won't be surprised that it's a high scoring game because you have Lukaku who's coming off of like 20, 30 some goals in his league. You got Ronaldo who's just broke the record for the most international or Euros
scorer,
and he's a top scorer. So I don't see this. It's going to be very like the defense has to be like legit.
I think
because I was saying I wouldn't be surprised.
Oh no, I'm talking about the defense.
Both defense.
They're both defense. So again, I'm just leaning again, not just because it's my team and I like them. I'm just going off of what I've actually seen and just other pundits actually talking about it. Like I see what they mean. I think Portugal's defense is a little tiny bit better than Belgium's. Where
I can see that.
The only thing that we had to adjust to, Portugal had to adjust to, was the midfield.
Yeah.
because Bruno wasn't really all there. He was obviously fucking drained, I believe, and just tired from
Yeah.
a shitload of
Yeah.
games. He just wasn't.
Yeah.
He just wasn't doing much. So when they put Renato in,
You got
I think that
fresher
fucking
legs.
changed the whole
Yeah,
thing.
he got fresher legs. He's a good player. He's a
He's
top
great.
player.
I think this tournament, every time he's gone in, he's done something.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think it's good that they adjusted to that. Like, as much as Bruno's a star, I think he has to realize, like, yo, like, let this dude play. 'Cause
Yeah.
he's
No,
doing
yeah.
more for us.
Yeah.
So I think, in that sense, I just think Portugal, in my opinion, again, not because it's my team. I think just the defense just gives it a little bit upper notch in my view, because everything Belgium has is more of the attacking side of the forwards and their midfield, which is,
Yeah.
But again, at the end of the day, like everyone said, I think
the only worry I have for I wouldn't say worry, but the only thing that I would think in order for Portugal to win and be successful is, yes, the defense, and if they can actually go back to their Germany game, I'm pretty sure they do, and look at all the mistakes they made with those 4 goals. Yes, 2 were own goals, 2 were other legitimate goals and things like that, but there were every single goal was preventable, because as I was watching that game and the highlights and seeing all the goals, what I noticed a lot with Germany is they had their forwards and their wingers, but they were pushing up their outside backs so high to the point where there was a moment I saw that it was literally the back 4 against like 6 guys running in.
which look, hold on, you're absolutely right.
And that's what I'm saying.
But Belgium doesn't play like that.
No, well, that's what I'm saying. They're similar in terms of the counter. Now, I don't know. I haven't really got to watch them, but I know Belgium is a counter-esque team.
Right.
But as Germany, they tend to press higher. They just press high. Belgium isn't really. I don't see them really pressing much, but they do counter the hell out of you.
You're right. So when France played, they obviously didn't play like Germany, because they're both right and left backs. They didn't even play the whole game.
Oh yeah.
One got subbed. The actual starting right back was hurt. They put a new guy in,
Oh yeah, for France.
right?
Yeah.
And then they ended up doing another back that got hurt like 10 seconds
The left back
in.
played the first half, got subbed. Then the second left back came in,
And-
got hurt, and then they put Rabiot in as a left back.
So
Yeah.
for teams that play like that against Portugal, I think they're able to hold their own. But if teams come in and understand how to press with their wing backs,
Yeah.
it's
Oh,
going to
yeah.
be issues for Portugal.
Well, yeah, that's
Because
the thing.
I was surprised. Like, Portugal stopped Mbappe. I thought Mbappe was going to do a lot better. He had
Yeah.
this one chance.
Yeah.
And they got blocked.
Yeah.
So I was really, like, in some way, like I said, I was like, surprised or not surprised. That makes sense of how they defended France, even though they got those goals,
Yeah.
and obviously we can argue days about the Mbappe foul, because I still don't believe it's a foul or a PK. But
No,
they actually
no,
got France.
I'll tell you.
France actually got an actual goal.
Yeah, they got.
They
an
were
actual
able to
goal.
get
Yeah.
I give them that. But
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, the Mbappe penalty, the foul, like I was telling you this, I compare it with football, with pass interference. I don't really like that foul. Obviously if it's on me, my team, whatever, yeah, great. But if I'm the opposing team, like I think that's one that really needs to be looked over, because I looked at it so much. I'm like, was he really gonna get that and get an opportunity? Was he really en route to bring it down? I mean, who knows? But I don't think it was enough for them to say he was in a goal scoring opportunity and he was gonna score. Like, you got to be really sure that there's an opportunity there. It's the same that goes with the handballs in the box sometimes. Now I notice now they're starting to just call them every 10 no matter what. Like, they're just trying to call handballs from now on, regardless of it's intentional or unintentional. And I want to say about majority of them are unintentional. It's just the way some players play and the way they move. And yeah, you're seeing now more of the habit of a lot of these guys putting their arms behind their back and things like that. And there's others that still haven't been able to adjust to doing that. So these handballs in the box, it's like, was he really trying to do that? And there's some that, yeah, you can tell. Okay, yeah, he was really trying to put his hand there, and because you see him trying to put their shoulder out and things like that. But there's some where they're just in the natural position of just their momentum of what they're doing, and they simply get beat, and then it just happens to catch their hand. So to me, I mean, some of them are just like, really, or others, it's like, okay, yeah,
You know, there's nothing there. Like he purposely tried to do that. The ones that I hate the most are the ones when they slide and it hits their hand. It's like the guy's sliding and where's he gonna put his arm?
Yeah,
like those ones I hate the most out of all of them, because the other ones, okay, you could kind of say, yeah, he should have put his arms behind his back, but it's the ones when they slide. It's like he's sliding, like that's how he slides. Like no one slides with their arms behind their backs and lands on their shoulder. they slide out. So it's
same for like fouls when they jump up.
Yeah,
like how, like when they put their arms up, it's like a motion of like I'm trying to get up, and then when it comes down, I have not that much control, because like I remember there was a game, I don't know if it was a Scotland game or a Czech or Croatia, where the guy put his arms down and the guy's his face was in his way where his elbow, and he got a card. Yeah, and he got the PK. But it's like, how am I supposed to jump? Like, you know?
Yeah, no, it's hard. Some of these fouls, you know, it's whoever you get as the ref that game, and some, you know, they let it go, others they don't. It's tough sometimes, and but it does change the game sometimes too.
I'm picking Portugal.
I'm still going Belgium.
Portugal 2-0. No, give it 3-2.
I would, like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if it's 3-2. If it's 3-2 Portugal, I would be okay with it, because I wouldn't be surprised with the high goals.
3-2 Portugal with the PK Ronaldo at the end, like the Madrid
like
game.
Every single damn game he plays.
I kid you not. He's gonna get a PK again. It'll be the most PKs in a tournament for him.
Seriously, my God.
But that's that game. Who else plays tomorrow?
I think tomorrow is. I have it here. Tomorrow is Netherlands and Czech Republic. I think Netherlands is really under the radar. They're not really exciting, but I think they're kind of just like under the radar. Just they're being consistent.
They're being consistent, but again,
you know?
if Czech Republic comes in understanding that we can beat anybody, like Austria almost came in against Italy. Yeah. If those teams come in like that, they can give these teams a scare and actually possibly just get a sneak a win out, just sneak a win. Because, Netherlands didn't play really much anybody. They tied against Austria 0-0 in the group stage.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, it's one of those things that...
No, they beat Austria 2-0.
No, they tied somebody. Who was it?
They didn't tie anybody.
During
they
the
won all their
stage?
games. Netherlands didn't tie anybody.
Oh, well, probably thinking about somebody else then.
No, they didn't tie anybody.
I wonder what it was I was thinking.
England tied somebody. England tied against, I think, Croatia.
What did I think? Also?
Spain tied also. No, Netherlands didn't. They won all their games. They won all 3 games.
Who was in again? The groups?
Austria, Ukraine, and North Macedonia.
Yeah. See.
Yeah. So again, no. Yeah, I know. I mean, like that's what I'm saying. Like they're under the radar, but they're not like anything like. Whoa! Like they're a team that should go.
I'm gonna give them the win.
I think they'll go.
They should win.
They should win.
That's how I'm picking it, because they should win.
It should be a comfortable. But if they comfortable.
Here's the thing: if they don't win, it's not that I'm gonna be surprised. I'm just gonna be like, I didn't think you guys were that great, and this is why you guys lost. Mm-hmm. Things happen. They should win.
That's how I see them. That's how I
should win. So that's the first game, right?
Yeah, and then the next one's the Portugal-Belgium one, which should be a doozy. That should be a good one. And then what else you got here?
Monday?
Let me see. Monday we got Croatia and Spain and France and Switzerland.
I'm gonna go with...
I don't know about Croatia and Spain, to be honest with you. Because neither one was really like... I expected a little bit more from Spain. I expected a little bit. They tied twice.
Spain was like a team that just really was going into it very well, but then all of a sudden shit happened because of COVID. And they had a half of the team they had to work with. And so it just fucked them all up. That's what I'm saying. So again, it kind of threw their momentum off a little bit. Yeah, their whole groove, their whole chemistry. It's like, is the team I'm really going to take, or is it not the team I'm going to take? So
to me, they're another. For me, they're like another Netherlands.
After 3 games, I think they're going to be another Portugal, where they're going to have to rely on overtime.
Yeah. Yeah, because Croatia will play.
Because I don't think they're going to fucking beat 5-0 Croatia unless Croatia gets like a red card and you just fucked.
Croatia's going to play. They're going to come out. I mean, the
way they won their last game, Croatia, was something I would see them doing.
Spain won the last game like 5-0.
Yeah, but again, I
think it was against Scotland, though. I can't remember. No. Yeah, it was Scotland.
Was it? No, Croatia beat Scotland.
So did Spain.
Yeah. But that wasn't the last game that they played. Was it?
Croatia beat Scotland 3-1. That was Croatia's Croatia's last game.
Yeah, I'm talking about Spain's last game.
Spain's last
5-0.
game, it was 5-0 against Slovakia. Slovakia.
Yeah, so I think it's going to be one of those overtime games because also Croatia right now just looks like they're giving it their all as much as possible.
Yeah,
they're not the same team from the World Cup.
They're not. They're all the guys. It's all the same guys, but they're all just older.
No, there's no Ribic and no Mandzukic, I think, that plays. Obviously, Mandzukic is not there no more, but Ribic hasn't even played, or I haven't seen him play.
Yeah, I think he got hurt.
Similar players, but against not the exact same team.
Yeah.
But they're going to give it their all. So, again, I think it's going to be an overtime type game.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if it goes to PKs.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised because,
I wouldn't
again,
be surprised with that one either.
as much as I like Morata, I just don't know what's going on with him.
Dude.
I don't know if he's just consistently
He has like
finishing.
the Benzema curse.
It might be worse because it goes out. It goes through It goes through all the clubs he's been playing.
It's not even that. It's the fact that like he misses, but he misses like
in a way, like, come on, dude.
Like, dude, really? And then to make matters worse is sometimes he scores and he's offside.
Oh, when he gets his goals, he's always offside, and it's like, dude. Like,
oh my God, give this guy a break. Just give him one.
Jesus.
Just give him one good one. Just one good one.
But I'm going tie, if not penalties, and I'm not gonna pick in penalties. Whoever wins the penalties, that I wouldn't. I
think that one is more of a. Okay. One of them was gonna get through. I don't think there's a real favorite between the two of them. I don't see a real favorite between the two of them. And then the next one's France and Switzerland.
If Switzerland can figure something out.
No, but here's the thing. But they're the other team. Like I said, they're similar to Denmark, where they're really like kind of hidden underneath, and then they really play well.
Here's the thing. There's a few people that know that. Yes, I have multiple teams that I like.
Yeah.
Obviously, I like France. They're my second favorite national team.
Yeah.
I'm just surprised so far in the tournament they've had, and yes, again, because a group of that, they're playing great teams.
Yeah.
If they come in this game and I'm like, holy shit, they win 3-0, that's the France that I'm expecting.
Yeah, exactly.
But if they also go to an overtime or they go into a penalty, like, I'm going to be even more in shock in a sense of like, what's happening?
What if they're like Croatia in the World Cup? They just go to every game, penalties and overtime. That's what Croatia did in the World Cup.
I know, but if that happens, that's where I'm like, then you're just Portugal from the last Euros. It's the same, similar.
Whatever to do to win, huh?
But again, which is fine, but I'm saying the expectation of you guys being who you are, I'm thinking 3-0.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I'm thinking, so obviously I'm going to pick them.
Yeah.
But I'm at a point where I'm surprised at all these teams that can just almost beat anybody now. I think they can find a way and adjust during the game.
Because
I think everybody's been able to adjust in some ways.
I guess the only one we'll know for sure that still would be difficult to beat would be Belgium in this Portugal game, in terms of the way they play. Because I mean, we've seen everything now. The group stage, we only seen the next two. We kind of got that idea now from Italy after seeing what they did in the group and then coming into the playoff round and seeing the different type of setting that they're in now. So I think it's going to be the same like for Belgium, because Belgium is considered to be number one, so when they're considered as being number one team, you should be able to dominate any team below you and be able to win comfortably. Obviously, me and you've known this sport for so long that numbers and rankings are meaningless half the time. Literally meaningless.
Especially the FIFA rankings.
Yeah, it's meaningless half the time. So it's like, it doesn't matter. So the only way I guess we could say like, whoa, that is the team to beat, is if Belgium does go in and beat Portugal like 3-0, which I don't see it happening, because like I said, we've known this so well that Portugal has more than enough quality players that play at the highest level just as much as Belgium does. So to both of those teams, rankings is nothing. It's nothing to them. They know they know who Lukaku is. They know who De Bruyne is. They know who Courtois is. They know all these guys, and a lot of them have played with them and played against them. So there's no doubt in my mind, like I said, that's going to be, like, I agree with you in the sense that everybody is going to be challenged more than what they should.
Right, that's what I meant.
Yeah.
It's gonna be all these games.
There's not gonna- I don't think
it
there's-
looks like it's gonna be more of a challenge. I don't think there's gonna be blowouts.
I don't. Yeah.
I'll be surprised.
Other than the one that we just saw, which was the Wales and the.
I wouldn't call it a blowout.
Denmark.
Again, I wouldn't call it a blowout because most of the game was well played until the last 10, 15 minutes because I feel like Wales was just like, fuck it, we lost.
Yeah.
I really felt that. I looked at the body line. I just felt like after the second goal, to them it was just like,
Yeah.
because it came so late, those
Yeah.
goals. And
Yeah,
we were
yeah,
like, fuck, we got to catch up with 2.
Yeah.
Like, we're not Portugal. We're not going to score 3 goals in the last
Yeah,
10. Like, that was the other way around. They Denmark
Yeah.
did it, you know?
Yeah.
So I wouldn't take that as a full blowout. I'm talking about full blowout throughout the game.
No.
Like,
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
I
that's what I'm
don't think
saying.
I see that.
Yeah.
I think if somebody
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna
folds,
happen.
it's gonna be like a red card. It's gonna be like something, you know,
Yeah.
like. But
So that's that one. That was friend. Then the next, the last one is England and Germany and Sweden and Ukraine. Ugh. Honestly, I like England a lot, but man, I don't know, man. They're I guess the last time I really favored them to go far was the World Cup, and they had a really great chance, but then they lost, I think, in the semis. I think they lost. This one, I don't even know. Like, if they lose in this one, it's like, well, you kind of deserved it because they had so many quality players to take, and who the hell takes 4 right backs, man? Like, oh my God. And in the first game, yeah, they win. It was like, oh, it was a great. And then the second game, they tie. And then the last one, I don't even think they win that well. I can't remember. Let me see. The matches. Yeah. No, see, look. They beat Croatia 1-0. Then they go and tie Scotland 0-0. Then you go beat Czech Republic 1-0. It's like, are you kidding me, man? You have literally 4 or 5 of the best attacking players, and you've only scored 2 goals the whole tournament. That's horrible. You have Phil Foden, just came off Champions League, and probably one of the best years he's had as a young player. You have Jadon Sancho, on the bench, doesn't even get to play the game.
he hasn't played, I think.
No, he hasn't.
I had a few minutes.
You got Marcus Rashford,
I think.
who's been hurt and been playing maybe 80%, but can still give you more than whatever the other guys are on. You have Jack Grealish, who has come on now and he's doing really well. Sterling, who has not been so consistent all year. No,
he's not a consistent guy.
he's
He
not a
gets his
consistent
goals
player.
when it happens.
And then you also have Bukayo Saka, who's on Arsenal, who's actually was probably the reason why Arsenal has been doing well. And then Harry Kane is like, come on. He scores goals, but he's not. He's just.
This is not his
not.
tournament. He's not gonna get 1 goal.
He's not.
Has he gotten a
cutting
goal?
it. I don't think so. I don't think he's gotten a goal at all. The only ones that scored was Sterling and
They've only had 2 goals the whole
yeah, that's
group
what I'm saying.
stage.
It was Sterling. Sterling was
Sterling
one
had
of
both,
them.
I think, isn't it?
I can't remember.
I think so. You can
I think
check.
so.
I think
I'm
it
trying to
shows
check.
you on there.
Let me see. Should show me.
I really think Sterling has both of the goals.
I had to check.
Yeah, there's one right here.
Where is that? Yeah, he's got both goals.
Yeah.
He's got both goals.
Yeah, so I don't.
So again, he's fortunate now, but again, he hasn't been real consistent for him to be like, okay, he scored those goals, but it's like he should be scoring more. He should be scoring more. Then they have that guy, what's his name, Calvert-Lewin, who's from Everton, who was playing really good all year. He had like a bunch of goals in the beginning of the season, and then kind of just fell off. And yeah, like their attack is ridiculous. And I honestly, Sancho needs to play. He needs to play. Like it's ridiculous that this guy's not playing. And then the coach, I get what the coach is saying. Like honestly, Harry Kane to me right now is like Giroud. Because the way the coach describes him, he says, "Oh, you know, he's doing all the right things that I want and things that we're looking for and this and that," but he just hasn't really scored.
He's a striker. He needs to bring the goals in.
Yes,
though.
yes,
Your
yeah,
fucking
exactly.
wingers are not supposed to be bringing the goals.
He was the top goal scorer of the league.
Which,
How are you not scoring a goal?
I get making the runs. I get moving.
No, yeah, I get all that too. I get
and
all
he should
that
be
too.
doing
Yeah,
it.
he should be, but he should also be
But
scoring.
your end goal for that position is to bring the goal.
Yes, he should be scoring.
And
Like easily.
Easily
to
be
not
spun.
have one. It's pretty.
Yeah, it's bad. It's really bad.
So,
It's not helping his cause to not want to be at Tottenham and go somewhere better.
and as I watch the games, I still don't think England's played anybody great.
No, that's what I'm saying.
So the intensity that Germany is going to come in and the way they played against Portugal, I think this could be possibly the 4-0 of a surprise of like, holy shit, England. Yeah, we knew all along you weren't that great. And Germany just fucking devoured you.
No, yeah, I see Germany having more of a momentum and more of a favor to win this game than
because England does play pretty slow as I watch the games.
They play slow,
it's predictable and slow. So when Germany comes with that intensity, it's gonna be like a hit in the mouth to them.
Yeah.
So
unless this guy makes some changes,
which I doubt.
I doubt it too, because he's been sticking with the same damn lineup for the whole. I think the only one he did change was the Jack Grealish guy,
yeah,
and he actually played well,
which he should keep playing.
Yeah. But they need to sit like at least like 2 or 3 guys and put some other guys in, because
so we'll see,
we'll see what they do. But I don't see England. I don't favor England as much I do in this that I didn't than when I did in the World Cup, because in the World Cup I really favored them. I really liked them. I really favored them, and they did go far. They did really well, but I think they could have gone further, but they lost to Croatia, I think in PKs or in overtime or something. I can't remember.
Like Sancho did play some game sometime.
Oh, he did get in a little.
Get some minutes.
Some minutes.
I'm picking Germany.
Yeah, I'll go with Germany on that one too. I see Germany just from the 2 games that they've had, the abilities that they've been able to do in going attacking and scoring. I see them better than England for sure.
And then which one was the other easy one?
The last one was Sweden.
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 That's all you need to know.
Zlatan's spirit is in there somewhere.
Imagine if he was there. I wonder how
he was supposed to.
Yeah, he got hurt.
And he got hurt. Damn.
He got hurt.
That sucks. But see, remember, I was saying, like, when I was telling you this last year, I was like, are these teams going to be any different than they were last year?
Yeah, because I was thinking about that.
Because think about it. Phil Foden in England would have never been on the team.
I was thinking about that. I was thinking about all the players, how they were a year ago.
Yeah.
And what
There's players.
I was thinking, but I mean, it worked out for some players. I was thinking about
the best example I get is that Phil Foden kid from Man City. He's the best. That's the best. Like last year, not even talked about. Would have never made the team for England.
He's 20.
Now he had the year that he had, and he's starting. You know, that's what I'm saying. And it's crazy to see that.
Yeah, because then I was thinking to myself, like, what? Cristiano had 5 goals right now?
Exactly. We don't know. And then what if they had? I mean, the team that I think it would have been the same team. In terms of the players that they have now.
But there's actually a few that. Well, there's one we didn't end up getting Cancelo because apparently he had COVID right before the game, which was horrible. It's like what?
Yeah.
But I mean, he's a right back. I don't want to get too into it, but he was a right back that should not let some of these goals happen against Germany, because I saw the way the right back that was playing against that game.
Well, the
Semedo.
The guy that was going in a lot was the one that ended up being the man of the match, was Grozen or something like that.
And Semedo was always late.
Semedo was just getting beat in the whole game.
So anyways, but you're right. See, because if COVID didn't happen, I don't know. We'll see. Some of these players may not have been there.
Some players wouldn't have been there, and I think these teams would have been a little
Sergio Ramos.
Yeah, I think some teams would have been
Sergio Ramos was trying his best to get him fit.
Yeah.
Like, you're not in fit, bro. Like, you haven't played a game. We were going to expect you to come play with us.
Yeah.
Like, he would have played the last year.
Yeah.
So it's really surprising.
I think a few others, honestly, from Real Madrid probably would have been on there too.
Oh, yeah, because some were injured. There's some that were fit. Like,
there had to be at least like 3 or 4 of them that would have made the team last year. At least.
Yeah, but this is Luis Enrique's first tournament.
Yes.
Everybody thinks he just didn't want to pick any Real players because he was from Barcelona.
Well, I don't think that.
I mean, he had players.
I'm sure
qualifying
people,
and during. I'm just saying that's what they all say in Spain.
And they do that.
But
I think.
I think it would have been.
I think the other
different.
one. I honestly think the other one that would have been different too would have been. I think Netherlands. Because no Van Dijk.
I think
I think De Ligt would have had a better season.
De Ligt.
Yeah, a lot of Depay. I don't even think was supposed. Depay was actually hurt last year and wasn't even supposed to play.
See?
So there's actually there's a good handful of guys there too that I think would have made that team a little bit different also. So yeah, it's crazy. 1 year, just made a big difference for most of these teams. No. So who's to say, like right now, the Netherlands winning 3-0, winning all 3 games. Who's to say what they would have done that last year? Because last year they had guys, but I still don't think they were as consistent as I guess you could say in terms of their game and the way they play as to what they are now. Because they're still like that under the radar team and just very simplistic. But I still think they wouldn't have been as strong as, or as I guess you could say, well rounded in terms of how they are now.
Yeah.
Because they got usually with teams when they get like 3 superstar-esque players on their team. A lot of the teammates, feed to them and they want to give them everything. Whereas now it's like, well, we don't have Van Dijk. They didn't really have that great of a season, so he's playing his role. Yeah. Depay is picking it up, but not where what he used to be. He's good enough now, and I'm sure there's other guys. De Jong from Barcelona is probably he's still young, but he's getting that form in, and there's Wanyama from Liverpool. He's there too now. So there's a lot of stuff like that, and I think that kind of filled in. I think they're one of the ones that probably benefited more, in being able to get out of the group with 3 wins. I don't think they would have gotten out of the group last year. If they would have had it last year, if they would have gotten out of the group, they probably would have gotten out like as a 3rd place like wild card team last year, as opposed to this year when they got it through with the.
And I think also England would have been different.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, again, we can go back. Like all these teams would have been different. It's just weird, but it is what it is.
I think Portugal would have been the same.
Right, jeez.
No, Portugal would have gone 3rd place, win only once. Nah, yeah, definitely. I think Hungary would have beat them last year. No, actually, you know what? If it was last year, I guarantee you Germany would have probably lost all their games. Because last year was the year it was just a disaster for them. Yeah, it was a disaster for them.
Right, they weren't doing that good.
They were doing horrendous.
Yeah.
They would have been one of those that,
and
I think the year.
Oh, and then, we don't know if Benzema would have been in France.
That too. Benzema probably wouldn't have been in France last year. Yeah, that's crazy. I'm glad that we recognize that.
No, it's funny because the other day before we were thinking about doing the podcast today, I was thinking about what you said. Like, it's a whole year.
Yeah.
Imagine how these players
there's going to be players that are going to retire, not get to play. There's going to be players that are young that might get a chance. There's going to be players that aren't injured and may get injured, and there's players that were injured that didn't get a chance that will recover and get the chance.
Yeah.
So, dang, it's insane, huh?
Well, tomorrow.
Yeah.
Be exciting.
It should be. We'll see. Good luck to your Portuguese.
The Olympics is next?
I think so. Isn't it this summer?
Yeah, it's right after
I think it's this summer. Yeah, it should be like in the middle of July. Going towards August, I think. Is it?
Yeah, it's in July.
Yeah, there's a massive protest. It's in Japan, and Japan does not want to have it.
Japan doesn't want to have it?
No. They're saying that
is it because of
COVID?
Oh.
They don't want people to be coming in and spreading COVID around and all this and that because they're as far as I'm aware, the Olympics is supposed to anticipate like it usually generates probably the biggest crowds of any sporting event.
Well, I haven't dived into it of all the.
Well, usually
I haven't dived into it. Like, are they gonna have fans or not? I haven't checked.
They said they're gonna. From what I've read, they're saying there's gonna be. I want to say maybe 75, maybe 50% capacity. There's
all
gonna
the sports
for all of their events that they're having.
Okay.
So and usually, like I said, the Olympics always generate. I don't know what it is. It's just they just
the
generate.
Olympics is a big thing, obviously.
Yeah,
for most sports.
They generate a lot of attractions.
Right.
So it's crazy because it's like. Anytime the Olympics comes around, it's like everybody wants to be, like it's like your house. Like, oh, we have guests coming. Let's clean the entire house from freaking inch to inch. And the same goes with the Olympics. It's like everybody wants to have their city look, as better than whatever the last one was. So Japan is obviously a beautiful city where they have all these, attractions and things like that. So I'm sure they've been working on making those attractions a lot better for the tourists and people coming in. But because of COVID, there's been massive protests saying no, like they don't want to have it. They're protesting that they should move it either somewhere else or do what they did with like the Euros, extend it to the next year, things like that. But I don't know who or what runs the Olympic Committee or who goes through that, but it seems like they're going forth with the plans regardless. And yeah, that's kind of what's been going on with the Olympics. So I'm sure it's going to happen. It's just like the Copa America. They could have easily... I just think they've been doing it every year now. So they're going to do it, I think, regardless. And Colombia and Argentina bowed out of it.
Every year. It's every 2 years.
They've changed it. They've gone every year now.
No.
Yes. They've been going every year now. They used to go every 2 years. And then when it became close to the 100th one, that's when it was the 99th one, whatever. And then when it became the Centenario, whatever.
So they do it every year except the World Cup year.
Basically.
Got it.
So yeah, I guess you could say that'd be the only time they don't do it.
That's why I was like, wait, they didn't do it.
Yeah. It used to be like the Euros. It would be the year before, I think it was the year after. It was something like that.
Because the year last year or the year before COVID.
But lately
was the one for Brazil one.
Yeah.
In Brazil.
But lately they've been doing it like every year now.
Technically yes or no, because they've missed a year because of COVID.
Yeah.
And then this year.
But I'm saying before
so
that.
next year's not going to happen unless, I don't know, because the World Cup is in the fall.
That's what I'm saying. So
I don't think they'll have it. I don't think so, because it doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense, but have you seen what's been going on right now with all these FIFA and UEFA games and all this crap? That's why a lot of these players are getting upset about UEFA, because they're adding more games, and it's like there's the Nations League now for literally everybody now. Everybody has a Nations League. UEFA wants to add 30 more teams or some crap, or another group or something.
I don't think the amount of... I think there's a little bit more games. I think they just wanted to keep it competitive.
There's that, but you're now...
From what I'm remembering, all the friendlies, there were games that scattered out through the years, right?
Yeah.
Like Mexico, USA, they would have games, like, it was just scattered out.
Yeah.
So what I think is that they probably took those scattered out games and said, let's just bunch them up and make it competitive.
Yeah.
Because there is no actual... I mean, it's funny because there's going to be actually 3 friendly games that Mexico's about to have next week. Next week they're going to have one against Nigeria here in LA, the Coliseum.
Yeah.
That's not a CONCACAF Nations League. So it's like, I get to your point. Yes, it's to your point to where you're saying it's so many games. So I just think they were trying to gather all those scattered games and just make it more competitive.
Yeah.
But yes, I think it's a little bit more games.
Yeah.
But I don't want to get off the topic. The reason why I brought up
Olympics
is because I want to get a point across. There was people that reply, that were trying to ask and saying that the Olympics should be important. It is important that all the best players... And somewhat this conversation that I had on Instagram was saying... How do I put this? Because I want to kind of get both sides of what this person was saying. They were telling me that, it is important. Mm-hmm. It is a big tournament. And I was technically saying yes to the person in a sense of like, it's a big event because it's considered the Olympics.
Yeah.
But I dialed it down or narrowed it down to soccer specifically.
Yeah.
And then had to give some points of why so many don't see it that way because of the rules and regulation it has. FIFA does put the rules on it because it's soccer. Soccer is FIFA.
Yeah.
So the rules that it has and the understanding that I have is it's literally under 23 team.
Yeah.
But this year, obviously it's under 24 because of the pandemic. They pushed it back. I read it.
Oh, they did?
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
They have a date of like the years that they were born.
Oh, okay.
So they were saying like, well, if you were turning this year, this age, like we're just gonna move it a year older because it had to be moved.
Yeah.
So like that was one thing that I was thinking about. Like, obviously Euro Cup doesn't think about that. It's, you know what I mean? Like, but you were saying like, if they retire, like that was the year. Here it was just like, it's usually the under 23 team, but since we had to move it, we'll let you guys are 24 now. Most of your players can play this
Yeah.
tournament.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is that
I just thought of something really great about this, but I'll get to it when you.
so that is one of the rules. It's basically your under 23 team that allows 3 professional first team players.
Yeah. Or older players.
Or basically older players.
Yeah.
And most of the time it's funny because I think this person took the conversation when I said this part like a smirk, or he laughed when I said like these players are kind of just going to have fun and an experience at an Olympic. So he kind of laughed and said, "What do you mean?
Yeah.
Why would they leave their families?" I was like, "Their families and their vacation and their comfort or whatever." I was like, "Well, you got to think about it. They're not actually first. They weren't even in the qualifying stages with this group that is going into the Olympics.
Yeah.
They just showed up and said, "Hey, I'm older than you guys. I'm one of the 3. I get to play. Thank you."
Yeah.
So that's it right there, is telling you like, yeah, I want to have fun.
Yeah.
I don't have to have these fucking rules, or like in a sense of like, oh, I really have to try because this is a fucking real turn. I didn't have to fucking come here for the qualifying that you all did.
Yeah.
I just showed up.
Yeah. Yes.
Meaning like, yeah, for a good month, I want to enjoy this. I'll bring my family
Yeah.
because I'm sure they'll let me.
Yeah.
And when I get to play soccer.
Yeah.
Great. So that's one aspect of it, of why I still believe it's not a big tournament for the majority of the top level players.
Yeah.
The top level players asked to go or try to go because it's an experience of like, oh, cool. Our nation made it. I can go play because I want to, just because I feel like doing it. It's not like I have to. It's not because I was part of the fucking group that had to qualify.
Yeah.
I've been with this group for a year to get to this point.
Yeah.
No, it's literally saying, oh, you're giving me the option? Are you giving me like I can actually have an option?
Yeah.
But the majority of these top players have to ask their clubs.
Yeah.
And right off the bat, Mbappe, Neymar, they got denied. They're like, no, because you guys are in the fucking 2 big tournaments right now.
Yeah.
And the fact that you guys want to go to this other one is going to fuck us up when we start league.
Yeah.
Because it's literally you playing and not having at least, because most of these players, once they get off the tournament, they're going to need a fucking 3-week vacation, a holiday.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But for them to go to another fucking tournament and be stupid if they get injured by a fucking 18, 19, 20-year-old who's trying his best to come up,
To get recognition, yeah.
is going to be reckless.
Yep.
For what?
Yeah.
A medal?
Yeah.
A medal
Yeah.
that people praise third place in
Oh, yeah.
and show all 3 of them up there. It's like,
I mean,
come on.
they do the same in the World Cup, but I think obviously.
But they don't put them up there as
Yeah,
like,
the World-
oh look,
Oh yeah,
like,
yeah. You're right. At the
Yeah.
end when they all do the anthem and everything.
Yeah,
you're
it's
right,
like,
yeah,
oh
yeah.
look,
Yeah, you're right,
third
you're right.
place. Like what? I would like the third place team. It's funny. I read this in Yahoo a long time ago about the Olympics. Why are people that get third place medals so excited more than the silver place? Well, you got to think about it. Silver place was the first loser. They lost the final.
Yeah.
The third place team was another final at a lower level.
Yeah.
So that's their win.
Yeah.
That's why they're happy.
Yeah.
So again, it's showing that again the Olympics is a big event.
Yeah.
But my point across in soccer, the fact, and here's another one before I forget. My dad just told me. The Mexican team, the top starting forward, was ready to go, was in the qualifying. I forget his full name, but it's JJ.
Oh, Jota.
What the hell? The one from Chivas.
Yeah.
He just got picked up
I know. I heard it
to
yesterday.
play in Europe for
Yeah.
Getafe.
Yeah.
And here's the thing why I love this and why it makes sense why this is not a fucking important tournament.
Yep.
This kid, as I was watching on Prime, they have a Chivas series.
Yeah. That's
He said it himself. The reason why I love playing for Chivas is my dream is to play in Europe.
yeah.
He never fucking once said, I've been growing up just to play fucking Olympics, just to be in this moment. He obviously just told us, he can give a 2 shits
Yeah. About the Olympics.
about the fucking Olympics because Getafe is the first team to offer this kid to play in Europe, and they want him, and they know he's good.
Yeah.
And what is he going to do? He's going to be like, oh, I've been working my ass off to go to Europe, and that's where I want to go. That's my dream. Who the fuck dreams about winning an Olympics?
Yeah.
No one really, because it's not marketed that way. It's not advertised that way. It's been told, envisioned in a way where like, hey, all you young players that are on the reserve teams for the national team, this is your recognition time for the future, for the next tournaments.
Yeah.
Because most of you guys may be on clubs. Yes, there's ballers. This guy on the Instagram was like, so-and-so was a baller who played that. Yeah. There was times when they won and there were ballers. There were amazing players at that age.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean every single one of those players was going to be on the first team when another tournament was. For example, I can't say his name. Kamavinga from France. He's good.
Oh, yeah.
He's 18-year-old.
Yeah.
He's not on the Euros.
Yeah.
And that's a bigger club. So that's an example there. It's like, why are they going to send him there? He's a top player at his club in France. He's a number 10.
Yeah.
He's number 10 in his club.
Yeah.
At 18. And to tell him, be like, hey, you got to go over there because you're just not ready yet.
Yeah.
But this is a tournament for you to get ready.
Yeah.
And that's what the people don't understand.
Yeah.
It's that our culture here in the U.S. sees it as like, oh, like we're winning every medal, like da-da-da-da. We see it as a great thing.
There's a medal
By all
count.
means, I get it.
There's a whole medal count
I get
when it
it.
comes to the
I
Olympics.
get it. We're good at other sports. Soccer is not ours at all right now. We're not close to it. We are not there, and I understand. And then I told the guy in this conversation, why didn't we take all the young players that are in Europe? Why? Because they're getting ready for other tournaments, getting ready for Gold Cup. They were getting ready for the final for CONCACAF, the Nations League against Mexico. Literally, they got ready for 2 games.
Yeah.
Once the season was over.
Yeah.
All those players came and said, fuck the Olympics. We're old enough to play there.
Yeah.
But we're going to play this CONCACAF first time ever against 2 teams.
Yeah.
The semis and the final.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So again, that goes to show you that I'm sure they wanted to, but most of the clubs and the current coach that they were at was like, no, like we're working towards this. This is why we have a reserve. This is why we have young players. This is why we have a pool of players that we need to go see. This is why they had the opportunity. Now, I want to keep going real quick. If you take that away from all the players that you want to go see, like Weston, Pulisic, all those, it loses all the fucking ability and development for the younger players to not play in this tournament. So it's like a JV tournament.
Yeah.
It's like your junior varsity and your varsity. If you literally put your varsity, and then I said that to this guy, he's like, well, then that's just the World Cup. I was like, exactly. That's why the World Cup is the World Cup.
Yeah.
All those players in the first season, but like he also brought, I was like, oh, because I also brought up like, the reason why this conversation started was like, I put, is Neymar or Messi finally get their first ever team win? Because the Olympics doesn't count.
Oh, yeah.
And then I put, my first thing is like, well, once you play the Olympics and you pass that age, you can't play again.
Yeah.
So how are you going to keep winning the Olympics if you only won it once?
Yeah.
At a young age. And that's where I kept going. It's like, yes, Messi, Neymar, they were ballers. They were out of age. They were able to play. Then they played. But again, Messi was at an age where he was on that team getting developed.
Yeah.
I don't think he was already ready to go to he was in that first teams.
He was good enough. I think he was already playing with the first team, but I don't think there was anything. I think
But he was at the age group.
I know, but that's what I'm telling you, that at the time they weren't doing the Copa Americas every year. So it's like, okay, well we got the Olympics, send them there, but there's nothing else for him
because
to play.
he was at the age to be on that squad. He was under 23, and he was like, okay,
he was 18 or 19.
Get him developed, let him play.
Yeah.
I forget what other players that were older were there, like, to do that, because again, if you would have sent the whole team, maybe Messi would have never got played, or he would have just been on the bench.
Yeah.
And that's my whole thing, is like, this doesn't count as a first team title because it's not the first team.
Yeah.
It's literally, again, the reserve team. It technically tells you there, like, it's your U23 team plus any 3 holders that are either retired or just want to go play, or 2 from the first team that just want to go.
Yeah.
So again, my whole point here is these tournaments are catered to these guys to develop. And under the last example, Gnarby
Yeah.
was a perfect example from the last Olympics. He was on that team, and we noticed again the recognition was there. He was doing good, and what happened? He was at the age. He was getting good. He was at Celtics. He was getting to come up, and like people were following it. Like that's the point of these tournaments.
Yeah.
For that, why the fuck will we put our first team on there to do what they already do, and they're already on top teams?
Yeah.
Why the fuck will we waste time?
Exactly.
Just for you to be like, oh, we have all the best players here. That's what the fuck the World Cup is for.
Yes. Yeah, I agree. Yeah,
I had to say this to hopefully make the person, I hope he watches, I'll be real with you, dude, understand that the fact, the recent example was that Mexican player literally told you, I don't care about the Olympics. I'm going to go play pro in Europe because that's my dream.
Yeah. It was funny because my dad did that, or he had it on yesterday. And he brought up the whole that got to Getafe, and I was like, he goes, oh, he's not going to go to the Olympics anymore. And I was like, good. Why should he? I was like, he's already going to the Europe. Like, why would I? Well, I told him, like, he doesn't have to prove himself anymore. He got picked to go to the Europe. Yeah. I was like, if he goes and gets hurt, then they're not going to want him. Yeah. I was like, so he might as well just like he's going to go, he's going to go train, and he's going to get better, and then he's going to be able to be with that team. Yeah. So I was like, yeah, there's no point. But my other point was going to be made about the Olympics was, because I know everybody made a big deal about soccer, but it's like, did everybody forget about basketball?
Oh yeah, I threw that in there.
I threw that in there. Did everybody forget about basketball? I mean, basketball literally can say, we want to win this year. Hey, LeBron go, Kyrie go.
Well, hold on before.
But no, hold on.
You have to give the
no. I get it, but I'm saying they're well rounded so well to the point where it's like. It goes off of what we said again. Like, we can throw in all our superstars and literally walk through this tournament. Which they have. They've done it.
Which is evidence. There's been 1 year that
but they didn't take any of those superstars.
Right.
They didn't take any. And everyone was like, why are they taking it? Did they need to? Like, look at the guys they're already taking. I mean, they still won and barely, or I think they barely won, or I can't remember, but the years that the year that they took Kobe, LeBron, D Wade, like all of those guys, it was like they won like 100 to like 20.
Yeah, every game was like 120.
There was 120 to like 50. They beat the other team. It was like, and I think Kobe played maybe like 10 minutes the whole thing. It was like, what was the point of him even go? Like, I get it. They wanted everyone to go, and I'm sure he wanted to go because of the experience, all that. And it's that's the kind of what I see like. When people get that argument about this, and I see that also with soccer, it's like, why doesn't anybody complain about basketball? They've been literally dominating this sport in the Olympics every
that's
single
what I was gonna say.
time.
That you kind of had to backtrack. So it was like that in the beginning, a long time ago, when the Olympics first, like back in way the old days. I don't know by what name, but there was a pro basketball player complained that we weren't able to go. Like a top pro basketball was trying to understand why can't we all go play at the Olympics. At one point, it wasn't pro basketball players; it was just the best amateur players that they wanted to take. Yeah. So this one guy, again, I gotta look it up. It's his name, and he went to whatever committee, he fought something and said, "We want all the best players to go. We should be able to go," and that's what happened. That's what went down, was in that sense of like, I went to go say something because I want all the players to play that are in the NBA or whatever year it was, ABA, whatever. Like, we want these guys to go play, and look what happened.
Yeah,
it took away all the aspect of any young player to go try to get better at play. But again, basketball, different dynamics. We don't have different clubs. We don't have multiple leagues like in soccer that it's a world global thing. Basketball is considered a U.S. main sport that everyone in the world wants to come over here to.
And I think because of the dominance of the U.S. in that sport has now reflected in other countries, because I never would have ever expected Barcelona to have a basketball team or Real Madrid to have a basketball team. I don't think we ever would have found out that guy that's at the Mavericks right now with Luka Doncic. He played at Real Madrid and he got drafted to the NBA. So in a way, their dominance kind of like bloomed into this worldly aspect now where you're getting international players more for the NBA, which is great. Which is kind of what we need here. Which is kind of what's happening in the U.S. But it's just reversed, where it's been dominated on the outside, and the U.S. is like, we're tired of this. Like, we need to bet better so we can be those teams and go against those teams. And it has shown now. Like, we got all these players are Pulisic, McKinney, list can go on, that they're finally realizing, like, hey, we got to go out here and do this. And it's slowly picking up. The other one that's got into the aspect now, too, is the women's side. Women's U.S. was dominating and winning the World Cups and just dominating every team, to now we're to the point where they have a women's Champions League. They started doing a women's Ballon d'Oro. So like they're starting to do, they're in that aspect as well. So yeah, it's like in a way it's kind of good that this is kind of happening to the U.S. in this sense, so that they can make that reflection of at some point to make the realization that saying the people that were complaining about the Olympics to say the Olympics don't matter. Look at how good we're doing now over here. Look at how good we're doing over there. This is what our goal was and our path was that we wanted to reach. Because we can be great at the Olympics, like the U.S. men's basketball team, but who really pays attention to it now? I don't pay attention to it.
I haven't. Since Jordan and Kobe, or since the Kobe time.
I think the Jordan one. I think they literally they got tired of winning in their league and just like, hey, let's go win the Olympics. And the dream team literally took all the best players and said, let's literally go beat everybody. And then years later again, Kobe and we're gonna go do the same thing. Yeah. So I'm pretty sure in the next, I don't know, maybe not this one, but because I saw the team that they took for this year, and I don't even know who. Like, there's a bunch of guys that I'm like, they're what? Like, why are they taking so and so? But it's like, I get it. They don't need to take those guys anymore. So there's gonna be a point again where they're gonna take all the like superstars again, and then go and just destroy Nigeria 210. It's like ridiculous, and it's like but then again, they're gonna come to an aspect too where the other countries are now starting to develop their games and get better and better, because I think there was the year where Spain's men's basketball gave US a challenge because they had the Gasol brothers, and they had a bunch of guys that were playing in the NBA now all of a sudden. So it's like like that aspect is eventually gonna happen. It's eventually gonna come. Because the other countries are getting fed up of seeing USA always winning. I don't want to. This is a soccer thing, but but I'm saying the aspect. The aspect of what they've been pushing, like the dominance that they've had, is the dominance we've been going against. Because that's what I'm saying. I think that's part of the reason why people get upset with U.S. not going to the Olympics, because they want to just dominate everything. Yeah, it's just USA's mentality. Yeah. We want to dominate everything. We want to win everything. Yeah. So that's what I'm saying, that it's getting to the point now where it's like the real, I guess you could say, soccer enthusiasts that understand can still say, well, the Olympics it's just, we're just going to send the guys that need to develop and help.
The fact that you have to ask your club, can I go do this?
Yeah.
Should tell you already, this shit does not matter.
Yeah.
Unless you're that age group and you're not on my first team.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you're not a starter. Mm-hmm. Like if you came out to me and you're like, hey, I'm on the reserve team. I've played only a few games with you guys this season. Can I go? Yeah, fuck, go do it. Go out there and meet somebody. You know? I mean, but yeah, as much as we can go back and forth with the conversation I had, I'm still gonna say that the Olympics for soccer does not mean much besides recognition and development for the young players that need it, that don't get to play a lot during the seasons at their clubs or at the national level.
Yeah, and I think the U.S. will eventually get to that point where they have enough players to say, we can take a young squad and it still be a strong group to get in. Because they're not there yet. The young squad, the strong group they have right now is a young squad. If they had guys above them, then that would be the group we would be seeing in the Olympics, like the Pulisics and McKinney's, because there's guys ahead of them that are far better than that. But they're the ones right now that are at the top of the table, that are just the
they're the ones that can really play at a higher level where they don't need to go to this because it's beneath them. They'll be men against boys, basically. Like that's how I would see it. With if they took Pulisic, McKennie, Dest, all Reyna, all these guys that have been playing at the top level in Europe, they're gonna go against teams that a lot of those players play in Europe, but they're not starters. They're not even the first team. They're like on the second team, and they're in the second division.
Yeah,
those kinds of players. So it's not necessary for them.
So. But yeah, sorry, dude. I think that's the Olympics. I don't see it changing anytime soon. It's for the young crowd. It's for the kids. It's so
there's a damn medal count. Huh? They literally put a medal count. It's like, oh, USA has 100 and some medals.
If we want to get into Copa America, it's either Messi or Neymar's to win, and it would be either one's first big title for their nation, because Neymar was not on the last team. He was hurt.
Oh, that's right.
He didn't even get to play at all. He was hurt.
He got hurt.
So this is his team. This is his tournament.
Yeah, and
from the looks of it, it's going that way.
It's going towards Brazil. Like as much as I love Messi, man, it's literally Barcelona all over again. It's just him. It's literally just him.
I've been watching the games, and
he's doing doing everything he can. You can see he's trying to do everything he can. It's just the guys on the other end that just can't do it. They're just not there.
As you can tell, I'm a Cristiano Ronaldo fan, but I'm at a point.
Are you? I wasn't sure. Would have never guessed it. Would have never guessed it. I don't know.
I'm at a point that I've never hated Messi. I just want to see him win for Argentina, because I used to root for Argentina when I was younger.
Yeah.
When Batistuta was there.
Hold on. Go for it. You were talking about Argentina, Batistuta, all these guys that came in before.
Yeah. So, like I said, I used to root for Argentina. I love Argentina's culture. I used to root for them.
Yeah.
And I think Messi deserves to bring something to Argentina. Yeah. Like Maradona did.
Yeah.
And Simeone did. Was the last Copa America was like a 93.
Was it?
Yeah, that's for Argentina.
Damn.
93. And even Maradona wasn't on the team.
Yeah. Jesus.
So I just think this would be the only final chance he can get something, because I don't think this team is good enough for the World Cup.
Nah, I don't.
It looks like a team that may not even get out of the group if they take this team.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I said, that's what I was telling you. I was like, watching the games and just seeing a little bit there, here and there. It's like,
and I said this before. I don't know why, but now that I look at it, I don't even think Simeone should be a coach for Argentina until Messi leaves. If he wants to be a defensive team, which I don't think, and you probably correct me, I don't think that's the best style of soccer at this point in this era right now. I think attacking and getting these goals is key.
Yeah, I mean, because we're seeing it on the aspect of a lot of teams that try to play that style.
So
I mean, Atletico, he's been doing that for countless years.
And we all see how that's going.
And it's gone good, it's gone bad.
Which again, he won the title, he won the league, which is great. But I mean, I want to get into that.
Yeah.
So that's all I'm saying. But as for Copa America, that's where I'm at with Argentina. I want them to do well. I want Messi to finally get that, and I think Argentina deserves it more than Messi, in my opinion, just because Messi's won whatever he's done at Barcelona. But the thing is, I just wanted Argentina to get something from this guy to be like, all right, you at least you got us this out of all the fucking trophies you got for Barcelona. Yeah. You can't get us this one trophy.
I know, right?
After because you're 34 now.
Yeah.
And I don't know how different it's going to change by the time the next World Cup comes for him in his gameplay, which I don't know how much it's going to drop. I don't know. So I just think, if it's time, this is it. But if not, it's fucking Neymar's.
Yeah,
because obviously Brazil looking a lot better.
Brazil is more well-rounded, I believe, than Argentina.
Because all the other teams are just like, ugh.
Yeah, Chile had a good couple years, and then hey, I don't know what the hell
and then
happened.
Uruguay's up and down. They have Suarez, so they have Cavani.
Uruguay was another one that was like really like strong, consistent for like a good amount of years. They were always like, they were almost to the peak of where they can be, but they would just never get over that hump, and they would just be good enough.
I think sometimes it could be coaching because they had the coach for years.
Yeah,
and he's like, he's already like sick. He's like, he can't walk that well.
Oh yeah,
he's really old now.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's just a matter of getting a new coach.
Yeah, probably.
But I don't know. I think Copa America compared to Euro Cup now, it's again, if they had fans, if it went the way they actually planned it. Yeah. It was supposed to be in Argentina, Colombia. I think it would have been a lot better.
Oh yeah, I think so.
Now, to me, it's just like I'm just waiting for the final and see who gets there.
Yeah.
Because I watched some of the games that are good, but they're not good. So I'm just.
They're not as really entertaining.
But it's out of those two for me.
I watch them and they just feel like friendly games.
Yeah, because I think
they don't feel like a Copa America game.
As much as they put the audio, I'm excited to see the fans now to be there, and it makes it more.
Yeah.
Yeah. So hopefully they get to that point. Maybe the final, if that happens. Yeah. But if not,
I don't even know who's gonna make. I'm pretty sure Brazil will get that. Honestly, if Argentina gets it, I'd be surprised. To be honest with you, I don't see anybody else really being like, whoa, they should be the other team that should challenge Brazil. Like I don't see it. I just don't see it.
I don't either, man. But
I don't see it.
I was rooting for Messi. I was hoping for them.
Yeah, I was hoping that too. But it's like God damn, it's just him, man. I feel bad for him. He looks like Cristiano at Juve.
He looks like Messi at Barca.
Yeah, but that too.
Same shit.
Yeah, but I'm saying in the sense of like they're really trying to put the team on their backs and just trying to do everything.
Yeah. No, you're right, but I mean, it is what it is. Yeah. I'm pretty sure Brazil's gonna take it.
Yeah, they should, but
we'll see.
Yeah.
Where are we at?
An hour 30.
30. Got time for another topic?
What else?
This MLS next thing.
Oh dear Lord, we really got to get into that.
We could finalize it with that.
We could talk about it. I got my views on it.
Wait, what else did we miss? We didn't miss anything else. All
There's
tournaments.
Not much. The only tournaments right now is Copa America and
all tournaments. No players that really. I mean,
there's like transfer stuff going on, but
wait till the end of the tournaments.
No, you could worry about that stuff later.
Is next, and then the season starts in the middle of August.
Usually, mid-August. That's why, like all these, as soon as this is done, Euros,
we'll get to all that.
They're breaking.
I think let's get a little information on this other stuff. Let's try to help people to understand certain things.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah.
There was another Instagram interaction that I appreciate people hitting me up or replying.
Yeah.
I say my comments. It's my opinions.
Yeah.
It's what I see. It's what I hear and what I can understand from the information that I get, mostly from being around you, because you're in the trenches. You're in depth with players. You're in depth with parents.
Yeah.
You're in depth with the leagues and how things have changed.
Yeah.
So I've had conversations about MLS Next, and my opinion that I threw on there was the gist of the league. I feel it's still not a proper league or a system to produce what I think should be produced. I understand it just started.
Yeah.
With everything that just starts, people are going to criticize. I am criticizing it. But I'm criticizing at an angle that a lot of people that a few people that I've gone conversation with didn't see my angles and didn't see my views. And they had some disagreements of what I said, but I was appreciative that they also said, hey, you have some good points that I never thought about.
Yeah.
And the majority and key thing is, first of all, the culture of this nation, the culture of soccer in this nation is completely, obviously, just completely a different breed from the rest of the world, and it's always going to be that. And, I'm sure I've said this on the conversation in the Instagram feed. people are going to be tired of hearing, well, we can't be Europe. We're not going to be Europe. Why do we keep hearing we should be like Europe?
Mm-hmm.
I understand the history of soccer here has started and gone away. From what I remember of the history of MLS, the history of pro soccer here when it had the one that Pele was in, what was it called?
Jesus, what was
that fucking league called?
Oh my god.
I already forgot. Google it.
Let me Google it.
Where what team was it? The
Cosmos.
Rhinos, the Cosmos. Fuck, what was that league called?
I don't know if it was called USL. I don't think it was.
No.
No, it was NASL. North American Soccer League.
Yeah?
I think that's what it was. Let me.
Okay.
I'm gonna Google out. You could.
Well, whatever. My point there was these leagues that come and gone. People weren't interested in this type of culture or this type of sport. Yes, I agree that it's growing out here. I've gone to MLS games. I've gone to LAFC games. They're fun to go to. But when I look at the end product on the field, and these are the games that I've seen compared to going to like a Mexico game and that end product and those athletes and the quality, of course it's different.
Just real quick. Yeah, it was the NASL.
NASL.
It was called the North American Soccer League.
Okay. So again, there was leagues that happened, and again, we're fairly young here. It's 20 plus years, 26 years now, something like that.
Yeah.
MLS.
Yeah.
So the thing that I dissect and the thing I look at, I try to look at it from a perspective of how is it actually going to benefit players that we still let fall through the cracks. When MLS started, I was a fan. We were just enjoying it. There was great players there. There was players from Mexico, players from other places. We were enjoying it. We grew up. They did well on marketing it and us to engage and watch.
Yeah.
And then there was a point where like, dude, this shit's boring. I didn't watch it for possibly 6-7 years.
Maybe even more.
And that's when teams were moving. That's when teams were changing their logos. Chivas USA was in it at one point. We're like, what the fuck? Chivas, like,
yeah.
Shit like that was coming through and going like, so to me, it was just like, yo, like the product isn't there. The players, and then they started bringing out obviously all the old players that are getting retired. Beckham, Kaká, all the old Thierry Henry, Pirlo. So they were like, so then we just obviously just going through what the aspect of, oh, now it's a retired league. Okay, so then where the fuck are we getting these players to actually develop and get better?
Yeah.
There is no system in play. Our culture is being told, go to school for 8 hours or 6 hours, the majority of your day, go to school. You're going to get a good education, which is great. I'm not against education. You're going to go to high school, then you're going to go to college. Again, education is basically a main priority in the States because it tells you need to succeed after a certain age or go on with your life to succeed, right?
Yeah.
So I think from being in Europe once in my life for 12 days, I really felt like I knew what the fuck they were talking about when they're talking about soccer, football. Because I just felt at home in a sense of like, this girl out of the street is giving me a tour from Stade de France, and she knows to the T everything about soccer in France.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that a girl in fucking LAFC who would take a tour, I don't think it's the same level. I think she's doing her job.
Yeah.
I would think if she took a tour or gave us a tour, I think she would do her job and understand that she's doing a job to make people enjoy the tour, as opposed to the girl that I met in France was like talking out of everything, and I'm just like, yo, this girl knows more than me.
Yeah.
And I'm just like beyond impressed and amazed.
Yeah.
So my point here is, in order to like really understand the system that we have in play, because you're in it, has to change drastically, but I don't think it ever will. So the attempt is MLS next. From what I know, there's a shitload of teams already.
Yeah.
Again, I don't even have to deep dive into this as much as besides what they posted on Instagram and I seen and read. The fact that there's 130 plus teams and if it's all throughout the ages, that's still a lot to me.
Yeah.
Because the way I see obviously from people that watch European football and really deep watch it, and there's even teams where there's the other regulation leagues or the league that's under them to get promoted. Like, we already don't even have that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So, again, the other world understands what that is. We understand that it's a business. We understand it's an organization. We understand that we have to find ways to get better players. How can we do it without being free? How can we do it with convincing these parents or these players or these people to stay in this league and be like, oh, this could help me somewhere?
Yeah.
And what do? They put the biggest name that they have is MLS and put next on it.
Yeah.
Because it was once an academy league.
Yeah.
Which was like a year ago before the pandemic, right? I don't know what it was called. What was it?
The development. It was the
DA.
DA.
Sorry, someone said that. It was a DA. They said
Development Academy.
Said it didn't work. Apparently, that's where they're trying to bullshit and say it didn't work.
I think so. Something
They were
along
trying to
those
say
lines.
something that we try or what it is, right? DA.
No, it had something to do with who was the provider of it. So if I could be wrong on this, the DA was more controlled through the U.S. Soccer Federation, where MLS Next is only controlled through the MLS Federation, which is the MLS committee, that the guy that whoever runs it.
So be
whatever.
it. I mean, because at the end of the point where I'm going to get to, it still doesn't fucking.
Oh yeah.
So let's say that is. I mean, we're not looking it up yet, but if that's the truth, great, right? So as I'm going with these conversations on Instagram, I'm implying my opinions of what I've seen and what I've finally been around. Again, same with just looking at Europe. In order for these kids to really go somewhere, now hold on real quick. If you want MLS to be successful and you want it to be certain thing, if they're asking, because again I haven't deep dived in what the point is, but if you're asking these players, hey, this is a pathway for you to go pro, or if you're asking us to go pro in the MLS only, well then you're gonna have a great amount of players who are limited in their talents to stick to MLS in the MLS competition. And then as they get older, they become pro. And let's say these players come amazing and great. But they're not being exposed to other competitions other than what CONCACAF League champions and whatever other Central American, South American tournaments. And we already know how those teams are. And those leagues are, and those countries are.
Yeah.
They're not even to nearly the level that we're at.
Yeah.
So where is the competition? It's within itself. So basically what you're telling me, you're almost creating its own NFL. You're creating your own NBA.
Yeah.
Because now, again, I may sound wrong to a lot of people if they're listening. The reason why I say it that way is because the point is, in my aspect, when I watch Mbappe, Foden, how do you say his name?
Phil Foden.
Phil Foden. Who else is a youngster?
Haaland.
Holland, Pulisic, Reina.
Yeah. Sancho.
And the two biggest evidences in the world that are the greatest two that ever played the game so far became pro at 13, 14, and 15.
Mm-hmm.
What they had to do was basically play in a club that was affiliated with one of the pro clubs teams.
Mm-hmm.
Or a club team that is affiliated around the organization.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And the way they did that was by tryouts.
Or getting scouted.
But when they got to the little team, the other team before they got to the pros, those clubs that they got to, they were scouted, they tried out. So, for me to see these two best players in the world to get looked at that age tells me that we're so far behind, because you're telling these kids that this MLS Next is like, hey, go through our system. We're going to help you go to the MLS. You're already setting them up for failure in a sense of like,
this is the best you can do.
This is the best you can do. Or considered MLS. We're going to showcase you and da-da-da-da. We're going to throw out there in the U.S. Okay. But about the time you're 17 and you're still on these clubs, or it goes all the way to U19. I just saw it. It goes to the level of these teams. It goes to U19. By the time you're in U19 on this team, I believe you should be at a pro club if you're that good.
Yeah.
And you said this before. You say these to your players. You say it all the time. If you're so good, you should not be on my team. You should go be signed, or you should go be on these teams, and you're considered the best.
Yeah.
And the thing that I was trying to tell these people is like, if you're telling me the 30th, 40th team that is U19 and the team that's always losing, you're telling me you want to keep those teams on there, and not one of them got anywhere. Oh well, no, but somebody replied and said, "Oh well, the idea is to go to college." Okay, well, it says pro. It says to help you go pro. Why the fuck are you talking to me about college?
Yeah. Yeah.
One of them said, "Okay, like college is a separate thing. This thing is to help you go pro." But if it's helping you go pro, I still think that is taking too long. But you have to tell me that the U19 team is the same U19 team that they're gonna go play against the Chivas U19, the Atlas U19, the Tigres U19, because they're set as a contract as pros at that age.
Yeah.
But for that level.
Yeah.
But you're having a team that's fucking from Temecula that I've probably never heard of. It's U19 and telling me that, oh, they deserve to be in this league because they're winning team. I don't give a fuck if they're winning. I need to know if these players can go play pro literally the next day, because that's how it is in soccer.
Yeah.
They have to pick you up that week and say, hey, we picked you up. You're on a reserve team. You got to be ready to come and play.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
So as I'm saying these to these people, I'm trying to make them understand, look, in Europe, you need at least 8 hours on your craft, and that's soccer.
Yeah.
Here, it's 8 hours of school and then 4 hours of your every day, or how many days you practice. So you're already behind in hours. You're already way behind against a 16-year-old, 17-year-old in Europe.
Yeah.
And obviously they're not going to fucking change that here, because they want your kid to be in school. They want kids to be in school to have money. They want kids to go to college. So these organizations can build money and build facilities because you guys are giving them money.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying you're paying to play at this MLS Next. Again, I don't know all details, but the fact that they have a league like this, and you're gonna sit there and tell me that 123 teams or 100 and something teams, or all these players are playing for free?
No.
It can't be.
No.
Because if it was, we would have had that a long time ago, and we would have had it on every single club that's out there in soccer.
Yep.
In soccer, clubs that you've been on. So there has to be a thing that that all these people are missing. And I think, in my opinion, what they're doing is showing you like, hey, we used to be the DA, now we're just going to call it MLS Next.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, what? MLS Next? So that means we're going to be so you're telling me like we can go play for LAFC, or we're going to play against them? Yeah, they have a club team. Oh, what's your club team? Oh, Temecula FC. What the fuck? Do you have a pro team?
Yeah. Yeah.
And the key thing that I saw on my point here too, I don't want to sound like everywhere, but I just saw one of Weston McKinney's quotes is like, the Dallas Academy that helped me get to where I'm at was because they had a pro team literally 100 yards away from me, meaning in my eyes, that's where I want to get to.
Yep.
So if they have that concept, that's what I want to see.
Yeah.
I don't want to see 130 fucking teams.
Yeah.
Because the 130th team doesn't have an MLS team, doesn't have the inspiration for this kid to be like, I want to be on that field because those where the pros are at.
Yep.
That's where the first team is at.
Yep.
No, they're not showing you that. They're showing you like, oh, hey, join our fucking league because it says MLS Next. We're going to look at you. Sure. Yeah. You're the last place team that keeps losing to every fucking other team. Yeah, I think you have great players. Do you? Maybe. But it's also a fucking setup for failure.
Yeah.
You waste whatever time, whatever money, whatever the initiatives are to be in this league. Again, I'm not saying all these teams are horrible. I just think if it was an MLS Next, I just think it should have been the 27 MLS teams and all their youth groups. That's all I wanted to see. That's all I think the system should have been.
The cutoff should be, because I know they're saying 138 teams, and I think the best way to go about it is the cutoff should be at 15. Everything below that, because obviously those kids can't travel because for whatever reasons or purposes, but the 15s and olders, the academy teams actually get to go. They have the similar schedule as the pros. So just real quick, off the example of the kid that's at Galaxy, the reason why he got on the first team at Galaxy is because he played with his academy team that week. I think it was like, I don't know, like at Portland or whatever. And then the guy that was in front of him got hurt in practice. They can't be like, hey, we got to go back to LA and pick someone up. Get one of the academy kids and just put him on the bench. And sure enough, he was one of them. They put him on the bench. He was 15, and he trained, and they liked him, and they said, okay, maybe they didn't play in that game. Next week, let's put him in the session with us now. He played in the session. Okay, let's put him on the bench again. They put him on the bench. They put him in 10 minutes. Oh, he did good those 10 minutes. And then little by little, he eventually became a starter and became signed onto the team. I think he was only 17 or 18 right now. But he started. He was the big talk of that year.
The Mexican kid, right?
The Mexican kid.
He's on the Mexican team now, or I think he's going to the Olympics.
I can't remember who he picked though, because he was Mexico and
he picked Mexico. Remember, you're like, why are they talking about it? He already picked Mexico. Remember on his Instagram?
That's right.
But I think he's going to the Olympic Games.
Oh, okay. But yeah, he was that kid, and that's what I'm saying. At 15, he would have, if who knows wherever he was, if he was on a team that was in that league, probably would have never gotten that opportunity, because he was actually in the academy, actually traveled with the team, and actually was playing in front of the head coach and everybody. Because during the week, I'm sure those guys, whatever time that they'll go watch those kids play. They'll watch them, and they've shown that, and they'll say something, and they're like, hey, look at this kid, bring him to practice. Let's see how he does with the big boys and this and that. And sure enough, and that's how those recognitions come. So so McKinney made a great point to say, we were on field 2, pros were on field 1. I want to be on field 1.
Exactly.
That's where I want to be. So I'm going to try my ass off every single practice. And
to get to that point.
Hopefully a moment can happen where the first team coach is looking over here and sees something and walks over and says, who's that kid?
Yes, because you're telling me that fucking Tustin, fucking Torrance FC is going to be like, yeah, we have fucking amazing players. Well, there's no pro team, pro coach to be like, I want to see that kid real quick. Just jump him over here tomorrow.
Yeah.
There's no opportunity. And then the other thing, before I forget this thought, is what you've said in the past. The fact that there's so many teams is already making convenience for these fucking parents.
Yep.
To order to be in a fucking team, and I said this on the fucking Instagram, like one person was like, well, you got to understand the population. I was like, dude, like there's fucking 4 pro teams in Mexico City alone, and the population there is like over 31 million people.
Yeah.
4 pro teams in that city alone. And they have those youth groups. So what does that tell you? That they only want the best. Mm-hmm. The best should only be able to play with us and try with us and develop with us. Mm-hmm. In order to be the best, you got to be around the best and play against the best. All the pros have said that.
Yep.
The only player that I give kudos, and he even said this before too, was what's his name? He's a defender. He's on the U.S. team. Yedlin.
Oh,
Yedlin did go to college, Akron.
Yeah.
Played. He became pro, but at the same time, he said, yeah, at a young age, you got to be with the pros to become the best. Now, again, I'm not saying that we're not going to get pros. I just think the development of these people are putting the expectations so high that it's beyond, like, it's just beyond mind-blowing, because the system in play in Europe, the evidence is there.
Yeah.
It's there. Cristiano, Messi had to fucking leave a country to be a pro. They were crying. They were uncomfortable.
Griezmann too.
Pulisic was lucky to leave that. Yes, he had parents where his father was able to go with him, but he had to leave.
He had to leave friends.
It wasn't fucking like, oh shit, we got a MLS next team down the street. That's so convenient. I can still go to prom. I can still go to high. The fuck does that even matter? I told that people in here too. The fact that you guys care, this generation or these parents, like, oh no, I want my kid to go to. Why the fuck does that matter? If you want this kid to pro and you're in this league, all that shit's thrown out the window. That's a sacrifice that these 2 best players in the world did. Cristiano said in one of his interviews, yeah, I could have gone to a educational college, but I chose to become pro because that's what I wanted and that's my dream.
Yep.
But if you give them those options, they're gonna be like, well, let me find the easiest route to do both, and then not be the best player in the world.
Yeah.
The whole point of becoming a pro isn't easy.
One of the girls, remember that we had, I think she said she moved from Texas to come over here to play here so she can go to a good college. Wasn't one of the girls like that? Who was that?
I gotta double check.
I remember there was somebody.
She said something.
There was something along those lines
here?
to come here. Like she moved here from whatever, so she could play with one of the teams.
No. She moved from Florida. Myra Pelayo.
Okay.
I think it was.
Okay. And she moved from Florida to what? I don't know if it was here or if it was.
I think it was the opposite. No, it was the opposite. She moved from here to Florida.
Oh, okay.
And then she ended up in Florida, college.
Okay.
And then she became a pro.
I've actually have met
because she said her dad was. Remember, there was like the last game, and their dad was like, "Hey, we got to go to the flight."
Oh yeah.
It was Myra.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, but that's part of that example of I want to get to
a level
because
instead of
you're willing to sacrifice and move and whatever because you want to get to where you're gonna go. That type of wasn't Myra. It was the other one. She just moved cities though. I can't remember who it was, but she just moved cities because she wanted to be closer to that team that they were going to play on. I can't remember who it was.
Gampa?
I can't remember who it was, but there was one of them. They moved from like I can't remember if it was ever, but they moved from like Torrance to Irvine just so they could play in Irvine to be what, or it was
Jocelyn.
Like I can't remember. I can't remember. My point is that's the similar idea of I want to get to the top.
I gotta move,
so I gotta move.
I have to move.
I'm gonna move.
That's the point.
Because my parents see what I'm capable of. They believe in my dreams, so they were willing to move me and our family here, so that way I can fulfill my dream and be able to train and do this, and this. Which is what needs to be done. So, yeah, I have that conversation sometimes with people and say, look, if you really think your kid is this, you need to go over here.
Yeah.
You need to call them and bug them and say, hey, give me a try. Because that's exactly what these guys do. These guys, I was saying that I had a conversation about this with a parent one time that they were like kind of like frustrated about the distance, or they were talking about somebody that said it was too far for them. And I was like, hold on, let me give you these top 5 players right now. Like, I'll look them up. I looked up a bunch of them. I think one of my favorite ones was Rivaldo. I think he traveled like 5 hours just to go to practice, and he would walk and take the bus, or he'd go by himself or whatever. And he was at a young age, and I think even this person goes, oh well, they were already talented. I was like, but it doesn't mean that they could have just easily walked in and gotten what they wanted. They still had to work for all that. Yes, they had some talent, some skill, but they had to develop that talent and skill. And they had to show that they were serious about this and committed to this to want to be able to make it to where they want to make it. I think Di Maria was another one like that. Apparently he has like, I think he has like 13, 14 brothers and sisters. And they live in a tiny shack with like...
You had 14 brothers and sisters?
Yeah. I don't remember the Titans.
Oh, okay. Was he saying no? He says no.
No, he goes, no, I had did he say like at 5? He goes, oh yeah, 9 sounds better.
Yeah, that sounds better.
But yeah, like that's literally what it was. And they live in these tiny shacks and can barely like survive eating. Rashford, he said he went weeks not eating sometimes because his mom could barely get him a loaf of bread. So the mom would sacrifice eating for him to eat because he was so skinny, whatever. But he knew what it took for him to get, to where he is now. So that's why his story actually inspired something that everybody in the world has been saying. No kid should go hungry. And this guy alone fed literally the entire world off of his story, which is what everybody's been fighting about with governments and this and that. Oh, every kid, this guy literally did it. And it wasn't hard from what it seemed like the way he did it.
Well,
like the way he just raised everything. But I'm saying in the sense of just like, it just goes to show the character of certain players and the sacrifices they have to make to get where they are.
Well, here's I agree with that. I'm 100% with that. This goes now again directly back to the U.S. culture.
Yeah, exactly.
We're so catered to. We're so entitled. We're so we have so many options that our culture sees like, wait, that kid just had a tryout. Oh, we couldn't like make 10, 30 clubs and charge them and then try out.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we do here.
Yeah.
Because we want to capitalize on businesses.
Yeah, of course.
As opposed to like, wait, He cut all the corners and he got his money. Shit. How can we get these parents to be like, hey, don't try out real quick. Come play here.
Yeah.
Bring your money here.
Yeah. Yeah.
So again, my whole thing with MLS Next, if it was able to be similar to the rest of the world, it would make a lot more sense. Again, you need one U19 team. I even asked, I forgot to say this. There's not U23 team, but we have them in the rest of the world.
Oh, yeah.
And here's why. Here's exactly my point.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. We want you to go to college. We want you to bring money into our college because they're going to get paid and we're just going to give you a free education if you get a full scholarship.
Yeah.
Or you get grants and loans.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what we want you to do. And then we'll probably sign you, which fucking makes no sense to me.
Yeah.
Well, we'll take you to a draft. And then when the draft comes, they don't fucking even take most of the players and say, hey, go to the second semi-pro teams, fucking Las Vegas FC, all these other teams. Like,
yeah.
Okay, then why the fuck even have a draft?
Yeah.
Again, they're showing you our culture in a sense of like, look what we can do for you to fucking just go through this instead of, wait, I could have just done this. I could have just sacrificed everything, just moved over there and tried out or find somebody, get a scout to look at. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because there's no need for 130 fucking teams and teams that don't have a pro team.
Yeah. Yeah.
Again, there's no U23 team.
Yeah, you know it's funny. I think the only one that tried that and it didn't work out was Chivas USA. I remember they had a U20.
I remember that.
They had a U23,
but their whole organization was the reason why it didn't work out.
That thing was a disaster.
That's why it was a disaster.
But they were probably the closest to do that
because he had the idea. The owner was the same owner, right, for Chivas?
Yeah.
I think it was. And he was just, obviously you can't do what he was trying to do. Again, it's rules and regulations here.
Yeah.
You can't discriminate and just say, hey, we just want Mexicans working here. And that's the thing that is tough to do in a world sport. I understand our culture.
Yeah.
But what our culture has to understand that this sport is not ours.
Yeah.
It's the world sport and they're able to do things at an advance. We have the fucking technology. We have the facilities. Great. Using to our advantage, don't charge them to our people to use them.
Yeah.
There's a reason why very few make it to the pros because they only want the best.
Yeah.
They don't want the best of the whole fucking region. They want the best one person.
Yeah.
Or the best two.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that I was trying to explain this whole time. Again, I've gotten the gist of MLS Next just by talking to you and looking barely that. And if they want to knock on me and say, well, you don't even know the whole thing, I don't have to. The fact that I already know the gist of it and you already just told me 100 and plus teams divided by those age groups already tells me that at least 2 teams don't have a fucking pro team. And I can't stress that enough.
Yeah.
And when you guys are looking up to a Weston who said that, it's... Again, I'm only going towards the system. I'm not saying that these kids are not going to become pros. I mean, by far, if they do, by all means, keep going, dude. But I'm just saying the system that is in place, it just started. I don't think it's a perfect system, and I hope one day. I mean, I don't want it to be, but I think someone needs to be like, yo. We've done different things. I think we need to go to the fucking European route and figure out, hey, thank you guys for participating, but we only need 27 MLS Next teams because 27 MLS Pro teams are what we have right now.
Yeah.
And that's what the whole point of this, because one, we don't have regulation either or promotion.
Yeah. They need that.
So that already is a different story that I want to get into that it gets further. But my whole point was, I think the system that is in place for MLS Next seems great. I'm sure it's great for a very small percentage of the best players, which by all means become pro. Again, I'm not saying it's going to be a failure. I just don't think it looks like or feels like the best route that they are telling everyone.
Yeah.
because again, if the details are like all these players are playing for free, but fuck, then let's everyone get to fucking play here, since they don't have pro teams. But if there's charging or there's some type of compensation that you got to do or to play, then you're just paying money to hope to become a pro, where you can pay money to just fucking fly your kid out to try somewhere.
Yeah.
But that was my thing on MLS Next.
Tell me how you really feel about it.
I don't know if we got another fucking 3 hours.
I know, right?
But
yeah, I mean, it's something I've always commented on and always mentioned about. Just the system alone. I don't think everyone has access to how. I think that's why everyone always asks, why do we gotta go to Europe, right? Why do we gotta go to Europe, right? And I just think the people that ask that don't really watch it or have access to what they showcase over there, because I've seen it. I mean, Barcelona, Real Madrid, Man U, Man City, PSG, Juve, all of them have an under 23 team, and all of them have youth teams below that.
Well, hold on. I know I'm gonna cut you off. Sorry, to kind of give you an answer. I also think certain parents didn't grow up like us.
Yeah.
Meaning, like, you have kids that are, I'm sure you have kids that are like, oh, wow, he's amazing, but their parents were not soccer buffs ever in their life.
Oh, yeah.
They just knew that they threw their kid in there, and they're like, holy shit, he's actually good. Let's take him to a club.
Yeah.
And then that's why they don't know this information.
Oh, yeah.
That's why, whatever these MLS Next or these organizations, I think they take advantage of that and be like, oh, they don't know.
They don't know.
Yeah, of course. This sounds good.
Oh, yeah.
Look at this big-ass billboard. Yeah. It's flashy.
I've put it this way, just me personally, how things I've done. Because I'm so passionate and I care about this so much, I've had players that shown up that are somewhat talented, not so talented, that I could have easily said, yeah, you're so good, come on my team. And they charge X amount of dollars. But I've done it where it's like, hey, don't waste your time here. I don't need you to go in debt for me if your kid is not ready for this. Because what I teach and what I do, your kid's like 2 years behind. So if you really want to make it, you got to go somewhere else. And I'm not going to put you through the struggle of what my teachings are and the value of what I have for your kid to not even enjoy it or make it because he's so behind. I always like to compare stuff with schools. I always do this to parents too, because I get parents that complain to me and they say they do all this and that, and I always find it funny when they're like, "Well, we're gonna leave and we're gonna go somewhere else." It's like, hold on, I'm showing you all the right things. I'm developing your kid in this way and this and that. I was like, do you do this with your math teachers? Do you do this with your English teachers? Do you do this with the school that you go to? And they're like, no. I was like, so then why would you do it to me? Well, it's because I'm paying. I was like, do you pay for school? Yeah, my kid's at a private school. Okay. So if he does bad in math, are you going to just up and pull him out of school and say, well, you know what? We're going to go to this school now. That's maybe 50 minutes away. No. Then why would this be any different? And some parents are like, oh, we never thought of it like that. I was like, if something happens in school, if your kid's doing bad in quizzes and this and that, what's the first thing you do? You go and say, I need to have a meeting with the teacher. The next thing you do is you have the meeting with the teacher and you figure out what the issue is. Is it the teacher? Is it the student? Is it this? Is it that? And you eventually come to the resolution that there's something wrong and you find the solution for it, where it's your kid doesn't pay attention in class, your kid doesn't do the homework, or your kid's just not getting it. This stuff is too advanced for him. So he needs to, go somewhere else where it's a little bit more at his pace, which is what I tend to tell people. There's kids that come in that they've been, we were here, we've been playing this, and that. Then they come to my team and it's like, your kid's not ready for this team. Like, they're not close. They're like, I recommend you go here instead so that they're better suited for them and they can develop and then come back and try again. And it's the same. I mean, I think private schools have that kind of setting where you have to take an assessment in order to get into their school. And I'm sure I'm pretty sure every private school would love every person that wants to come. They'll have, yes, please come pay. Oh my God, 10 people want to come to our school. Like these, they want to all pay in full. Yeah, no, they all put them through an assessment first. And if they're not ready for that, if they can't pass that assessment, they tell them, sorry, you can't come to our school. You are not ready for this. And sure enough, parents are like, oh, what did we do wrong? They get in that. But again, it's a lot of it is that. And that's what I always like to compare. Like I always like to use that comparison when it comes to things like this, because parents, I always say, do you do this with your kid's school teacher? And when they say no, and I go, what makes me any different? And they're like, they don't have an answer, because like, I'm teaching your kid a subject. I'm giving them all the tools throughout the week. I was like, their homework is to do this at home on their own, and I tell them.
I think the answer should be, well, they don't get. If the difference is, like you said, there's an assessment for school, right?
Yeah.
There's not really an assessment.
There is an assessment,
but they don't know that, right?
I do that. I tell them that.
No, I mean like,
at least the people I speak to, I tell them their assessment.
When they say they choose a club,
yeah,
I don't think there's an actual like a mandatory assessment, is there?
So like, let's say, you could say the tryout.
So like,
I guess that would be your closest thing to it.
So like
the tryout.
So they have to pay after the tryout.
Yeah, like if I end up liking them and wanting them, then yeah, you register them and do all that, and then they make the team. So where I was getting to is that when I compare, I say I train them. That's their in class learning. Their homework, they got to go home and do it on their own. Their quiz, their test is when we play small sided games, or their quiz at least during the practice. Their test is the game. Their test is the game. If whatever they learn during that week and they perform it at the game, then obviously I can praise them and somewhat grade them and say, yes, you did this is right. Or like in anything in tests, you got all these questions, but you missed these questions. The same goes in the game. You did good in this part of the game, but this is where you made your mistakes. You got to fix these. So that's what, and the some parents are just like, wow, we never saw it that way. And I said, yeah, of course not, because we're just so hell bent on wanting to win. Just go and win. You can care less of what your kid did. Win. Like for me, it's like I've always said this. I said, I don't care if we win. You're 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 years old. If you're going to be invested in this, you're going to win and lose a shit ton of games. Yep. But if I can get you prepared to where you want to go and get you recognized, then I did my job. Yeah. I don't care how many wins you had. I don't care how many losses you had. Whatever team is now wanting to take you from me, that's if it's academy or higher level, then I've clearly done my job. Yeah. I've done my job. If I'm losing players to better teams that that are far beyond better than what I can give them, then yeah, I did my purpose. But if you're telling me you're just gonna go leave because you're mad about this and this, and then you're gonna go somewhere else where it's not even any better, it's like, who's really winning here? Like that's part of the issue too. And in some places, yeah, you should be educating the parents in the sense to help them understand. And in other cases, it's like you kind of don't want to over-educate them, because then they become more of the sense of like, more in the sense like they kind of know it all. And they think they know it all. Yeah. When in reality, it's like, no, there's a bigger picture here. You were probably just given this little part, but there's a whole big picture here. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I always enjoy that comparison with the schools. And I tell you, every look that I get, they're just like, I didn't think of it like that. I was like, well, yeah. I was like, you're taking your kid to a school, and if some schools you don't pay, it's public school, you just take them. Yeah. And yeah, of course they're gonna go through their classes, gonna do this, gonna do that. They got to do all their homework, whatever. And then sure enough, it's like, you're just not gonna say, oh, I'm gonna take my kid out of here and let's go over there because this isn't that. It's like this doesn't make sense. I was like, and the same, and then the same goes if you go to a school that there's 30 kids to one teacher. Their playing time comparison is the attention they get from the teacher. So if they're not getting any attention and they're not doing, then yeah, again, that makes sense, because they're not really learning because they're not getting the help. But what does every parent tell their kid? You should be asking questions. You should be going to your teacher. So what makes that any different with me?
Yeah, no, I agree.
I tell the parents, I even tell the kids, I said, you should not be afraid to come talk to me. But and I'm sure every teacher does the same in their classes. You should not be afraid to ask a question. But every kid is different. Every kid has their their reasonings and things like that. Yeah. So you try to always reassure that. So part of it is there's a lot that goes into it in terms of just development and a lot of other things, because I always like to compare the two, because in reality, if you separate the two, they're both similar. One is trying to be successful in one aspect of life. The other is trying to be successful in a different route of life, where one wants to go through school, education, this and that, and have a career in, physics or engineering or whatever. Or the other wants to have that career in a sport, but they want to be able to be successful in a certain position. So it's similar. There is a lot of similarities. It's just people don't really grasp the concept sometimes. So that's like one of my favorite, I guess you could say, analogies or comparisons when I make.
No, it's a good one. It's a great one. Yeah. I mean, if you get people thinking, that's the whole point.
Yeah. Yeah.
For them to be like, to think more than just the narrow or the closed tunnel vision.
And then the way like I tried to tell parents too is said, if I didn't care, or if your teacher didn't care, they wouldn't say anything. They would just let it go. So every time I have these conversations, it's like if a kid's behaving in class or badly behaving in class, the teacher truly cares, they're going to write them up. They're going to call the parents and say, hey, so-and-so, this, and that. What's the parent going to do? Now, at that point, it's up to the parent.
Yeah.
Do I really want to take care of this? Or should I just, forget it, whatever. I don't care. Because the same goes with soccer. Sometimes it's like, we're like, hey, look, your kid's acting like this in practice. This is what's been going on. And the parent can easily say, oh, whatever, Or they can be like, oh, okay. And then that's when you hear parents take away this from their kid. They tell them no more of this, no more of that, or else we're not going to come back, or you're not going to play anymore, all that. And that's the same that goes in school. You're fucking failing classes. You're not going to reward your kid, hey, go be on the computer for 2 hours and watch YouTube and play video games.
Yeah.
The same is that's what I'm saying. It's like that's where I believe has to somewhat change is there's a lot, like I've said, a lot of variables and all that. And that's part of where I am in what I do. It's like I could easily pick up any kid, because there's families that will easily say, yep, I'll pay this. Let's go. And I could either, oh, thank you. I'll take it. I don't care who your kid is. Come on. Or I could be the one that say, your kid's not, that's not who I am. I'm not the one that's going to sit here and just say, give me your money, give me your money, give me your money. Because I want you guys to be successful. I want your kids to be successful. I want my team to be successful, So, yeah. I think that's where my opinion and aspect comes from. The whole culture and identity of how the development should work and things like that.
Again, it's a different culture where we have, and our system here in the U.S. is very money and capital driven, that they care more about winning. Yeah, they care more about the best to be winning, and that's what we consider to be the best, is just winning. I think that mindset is just tough, and especially with new parents that are into this sport, that are just coming new, and their kid is brilliant at the game, and they're just like, what do we have here? Right? I'm sure you get a lot of those too, because they don't know. They just hear the typical, hey, this is the best thing, go do that. Mm-hmm. If I was going into something brand new and something was telling me, I'm at a point where I just ask questions because I want to know. Yeah. But if I was just someone that was an average person, like, okay, they're telling me this is what it is, and then fuck.
Yeah, and the thing too is that we, with this culture in club, it's like, I get this a lot from parents. Like, I don't want to ask too many questions. I don't know. I don't want to bother. It's like, no, I want the questions. Give me the question.
Everything.
Yes, question it, because for me, in order for this whole club culture and everything to be successful, I need to give out what I know and the knowledge of what I'm aware of, so that you can be aware of it and your kid can be successful. Because then it's like, if you don't want to ask me questions and I'm not gonna, and if I don't have answers, it's like, then how are you really gonna get to know what to do next? Yeah. It's the same in college, like in schools. The parents gonna come like, well, I want my kid to go to college, but how do we go about it? So the counselors and everybody's gonna say, okay, this is what you do. You do this. You do this and this.
No, just do what Aunt Becky did.
Well, what?
What Aunt Becky did.
Well, I don't.
For Full House.
I can't remember.
You don't remember Aunt
I
Becky?
don't. I don't. Oh yes, now I remember now.
It was like 100,000. Get my kid at USC. Yeah, make him play badminton.
Let's Photoshop a few rowing photos.
You know, there's a show. Or they made it like a movie on Netflix.
Yeah,
it's pretty good.
yeah. I heard about
I
it.
saw it. And
It's about them.
yeah, that's what it is. It's about the whole thing, and I was
Yeah.
like, wow.
Yeah, it's
like,
crazy. I gotta check it out. But yeah. All right.
Is that it? Is that where we're at?
I think
We'll leave it at that.
leave it at that.
Episode 023.
Yeah. I think so.
Keep watching, guys. Appreciate
Yeah.
it. Keep
Yep.
watching. We're gonna keep going.
23.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about whatever. I'm gonna keep fucking saying what I gotta say on these
I like it.
posts.
I
And
like
if
it.
they reply to me, I'm gonna talk about it.
It's good. I like it. I enjoy it.
But yeah, hopefully we get some more guests again coming up.
I'm sure we will. Things are slowing down. Not I won't say slowing down, but
well, hopefully. I
Yeah.
mean, some actual pros are back in their preseason
Yeah.
trainings.
Yeah.
So we'll try to get people. And yeah, hopefully we get an actual full guest in here one day. But if not, we'll through it through Zoom.
For sure.
But other than that, we're good.
I'm
for
good.
today.
All right, man.
All right.
Till next
Cool.
time. See you guys.